Out of the FA Cup, out of the League Cup as well a couple of weeks before that, and just 4 points from 2 matches. There were 1 or 2 questions being asked of Arsenal, but after the performance in Milan in midweek, everything's changed.
Desire. We were not scared to play our game.
And that's it! And Adebayor clinches it!
In the
Weekend and a chance here to stretch their lead over Manchester United to 4 points. It was a fabulous performance midweek and they really couldn't be in much better shape coming off the back of it. We are surrounded by experience here this afternoon. George Graham, 6 trophies as manager of Arsenal, Sam Allardyce and Andy Gray. George, one of those was a Cup Winners' Cup success for the Gunners. But midweek they were talking about Arsenal's performance being their best ever in Europe. Do you share that?
I don't think it's the best ever. I think it's one of them because if you looked at the Milan team, very aged, growing old all the time. The first game at the Emirates, actually Arsenal should have won convincingly. So that's saying played them twice and actually played them off the pitch. I just think that Arsenal can go on. It surprised me because they've had great teams in the last few years and they've not done as well as I think they should have done, you know, in the Champions League.
Can you put up a case for your old mate Steve Bruce here today, Sam, and Wigan getting anything out of this?
Only that Steve's done it when he was at Birmingham. I think that, and here at Wigan, he has got some really, really good at home results by sheer endeavour, commitment, organisation and the will to win from his players. And if that disrupts Arsenal's flow, then they may have a chance, but it's going to be very, very difficult for him.
You watched the game Tuesday night, didn't you? How impressed with Arsenal were you?
Very. I mean, I think Sam's used 2 words there, disrupt Arsenal. And it's very difficult to do. And if you don't manage to do that, then what happens is what happened in midweek against Milan. Milan were incapable. I always thought in the second leg they had a real chance. It's a culmination of a fantastic performance from Arsenal.
How do you stop them then, those two?
How do you stop those two? You get right in the face and you stop them passing and you stop them creating and controlling the game, particularly Fabregas. I mean, you would designate a man in that particular area if you've got one to stop him playing, and if you do that, you upset them and you upset Arsenal. The chink in the armour is that they do get upset rather too easily.
Michael Brown?
Possibly, but yeah, he can't be over ferocious because, you know, referees protect players well today, and I think that, you know, you get booked very early, and I think you've got to be careful about the size of the challenge.
You say they do. I'm sorry, George, just to pick you up on that. You say they do, but Sir Alex Ferguson only yesterday was talking about a lack of protection from Ronaldo, saying, I agree with Arsene Wenger that referees are not protecting us well enough. So why would they disagree with you?
I think that a player like Ronaldo is always going to be the most fouled player in the Premiership because he's so good that few defenders in the world today can cope with him, and ultimately in the end they can only result in fouling the player because they're trying to stop him, but can't, and end up fouling him more often than anybody else. And I think that's only to be accepted with a player of such great talent, power, pace and ability. And I think that from that point of view, it's easy to say that sort of thing, but from the Premiership as overall, the amount of bookings that you get for virtually minimal contact now is quite sad, I think.
Sorry, George, I interrupted you.
No, I think when you play Arsenal, you've got a decision to make whether you actually withdraw, and keep a lot of players behind the ball, a 4-4-2 or a 4-1-4-1, you know what I mean? And you sort of let them run out of steam and run out of ideas. Or do you actually press them high up the pitch, and actually disrupt, as Andy said, disrupt them right from the off. Make the goalkeeper kick high balls, press in after them so that you're not playing their game, you're actually trying to impose your game on Arsenal. So that's the problem like you have with Steve Bruce will have today. Does he attack, press Arsenal, or does he sit back and maybe keep it nice and tight? And hopefully they get a goal to hang on to.
There's been a few occasions sorry Sam, that I've watched Arsenal this season, and I can remember a game at Aston Villa when they played Villa at Villa Park, and in the first half they were sensational. Villa sat back, decided that they would let Arsenal have the ball first half, got destroyed, got picked apart, were really poor. Second half, Martin O'Neill, chasing a game, decided, right, what we're going to do, we're going to get in the face, we're going to defend high up the pitch, we're going to hassle people, make them play quickly when they don't want to. And suddenly Aston Villa performed much, much better. Arsenal were much poorer in trying to deal with the ball under that sort of pressure, but it is a big decision to make. I just think with this pitch, I would be very surprised if Steve says to his team, back off the game. Yeah, I really would.
We're just referring back to what happened in Milan. Arsene Wenger was still smiling on Thursday when he went back to Highbury for a topping off ceremony. Outside there's still some work to do, but inside flats are all complete now, so it was celebration all round. Hard hats and yellow jackets, flask of beer, and then he went back to the Emirates and started to talk about the events of the midweek.
What pleased me overall is that we're a bit under pressure because we didn't deliver the results against Birmingham and Aston Villa, and despite that we were not scared to play our game, and so the mental strength we have shown under pressure was quite reassuring for the team.
How close is Cesc Fabregas to becoming the best player in the world?
I believe that what is very important for Cesc Fabregas is that he keeps that right mixture between humility and desire to improve. And as long as he keeps that, he will always be tremendous. After the best player in the world, you cannot compare different positions. But this guy is only 20, so there's a lot more to come out of him. And what you're concerned about is that you get that out of him.
So has your philosophy evolved then in recent years?
Well, you adapt to the quality of the players you have, Fabregas is a different type of player than Vieira, Flamini is different than Petit. So it's different, always big players, but different style, and you adapt the game. The game adapts as well to their qualities.
Arsenal now chasing on two fronts, the Premier League and the Champions League. You said in the past that the domestic competition is more important. Do you stand by that?
Well, yes, because the domestic competition is what makes you exist at the top level. And I believe as well, for example, you go from Milan to Wigan, it's completely different environment, different opposition, different type of play.
A huge contrast from AC Milan to Wigan. What are the different questions maybe that Wigan will ask of you? What are the different demands?
Commitment, fight, resilience, and as well play our game. Not forget that we want to express our strengths, and I believe that Wigan is a team fighting not to go down, and when you prepare yourself to be highly committed to come out of a game like that with a good result.
So for you, George, Vieira and Petit, or Fabregas and Flamini? Well,
as he says, they're different. I think Vieira and Petit, they were two holding midfield players, not really attacking options there at all. But just now you've got Fabregas, who actually dominates, not only dominates the midfield, he'll go and join the front boys and actually get among the goals, which he hasn't done in the past. So as he says, it's a different duo in the central midfield.
As Guy Havold asked the question there, how far away is Fabregas from being the best player in the world? Big Sam said, not far.
Not far.
Not far.
Well, he played against Kaka, didn't he? And he was close to the best player, and he completely outshone him on the night. I watched the whole of that game in midweek, and you know, for me at 20 years old, adding the goals to his play has been a big bonus.
So what
this
else
year.
has he got to do
His
for people to say he's the best?
His killer passing is the best. He sees and threads a ball through the eye of a needle and makes the weight of the pass under difficult circumstances in the final third look really, really easy. And his vision and his awareness, he always knows when somebody's around him as well and knows which way to turn, and then he sees the killer pass.
He was a little petulant at one time, wasn't he? That seems to have
Nothing wrong
improved
with
as well.
that. Great players are, invariably, I would think the majority of them need to be, and it shows a care, a desire, a drive. He is close. I mean, you asked the question, what will make him the best? I guess through time, Richard, what makes these great players the best is influencing the big games. The FA Cup finals, the European Champions League finals.
Milan away.
Like Milan away from home. Great players, truly great players, step forward then in the really big games and dominate, as he did with Kaká. He just stepped forward, he dominated the game, he controlled it. More performances like that put him on a bigger stage worldwide, and if he continues to dominate and influence in games of that magnitude, that's what I think will turn Fabregas into the best.
Teams today, it's the same for Wigan as it was at Manchester City, where they got a point on the road, unchanged. Marlon King and Emile Heskey paired together again up top. As for Arsenal, 2 changes from midweek. Aboué and Diaby out. Bentner and Gilberto come into the side. It looks like Fabregas will play Andy right of 4 in midfield, does it?
Rightish, yeah. I mean, he won't give as much width as you know, Aboué would give, but he'll just play on the right side of Gilberto, I would guess, Richard, yeah.
Van Persie on the bench, look.
Yeah, that's good news. Approaching the end of the season. Very good news for Arsenal.
FA Cup scores. It's been quite a weekend one way and another. We saw Manchester United beaten. Chelsea fell yesterday afternoon. Right now, Middlesbrough are 2 goals down to Cardiff City. Whittingham and Richard Johnson are the goal scorers. They lead. It's the latest. Bristol Rovers play West Brom later. George, you've won it as a player and a manager. What on earth is going on in the FA Cup?
Who knows? I mean, what is it? The last 16 years, one of the big 4 have always sort of won it, and all of a sudden you're getting these shocks. I mean, who would have thought that Manchester United and then Chelsea would lose?
Extraordinary.
You know, unbelievable.
Spurs have scored twice already against West Ham United. 2 in 3 minutes. 8 and 11 minutes. Berbatov got the first. And Berbatov got the second as well. 2-0 they lead against West Ham. Sunderland and Everton, no goals there. Football first tonight, remember, 10 o'clock, Sky Sports 1. Barclays Premier League looks like this. If you're a Newcastle fan, it's a frightening sight, that, for a number of reasons, Andy.
For a number of reasons. I'll tell you the frightening sight is you look at every team below Newcastle, they've only played 28 games. The cold fact of the matter is, if Wigan and Sunderland draw their game in hand, they go above Newcastle. If Birmingham win their game in hand, they go above Newcastle. And if Bolton win their game in hand, they also go above Newcastle.
Can you see them going down, Sam?
There's a possibility now, yes. I mean, it's very difficult when you're in such a bad run as they are now and conceding so many goals. So they've got to stop that first. I think a few draws is the order of the day.
Would you take responsibility in any way? Do you think that this... People will say, well, you know, Kevin was picking up from Sam...
Sam Allardyce is to blame for an awful lot, isn't he? Like, I mean, it's always Sam Allardyce's fault, like, I mean. So if people want to blame me, that's fine, no.
You think he's had enough games to sort it?
I think so. I think that, you know, while I was there, we were 11th when I left. For whatever reason, they decided that I wasn't the man. But that wasn't as bad a start as Newcastle had in the last 10 years. 5 times they had a worse start than that. We had the best start in 10 years, and we were 11th. We were 9 or 10 points, 12 points away from the bottom 3. So it was a reasonable squad, suffering with a little bit of a lack of confidence. But then the African nations players were away, and big games were coming up, and they haven't managed to get any results out of it.
Can I ask you a question? Right, you've been at Newcastle. You know the you know the players of the club. Bolton, your experience there. You've gone through this. You've had to battle and scrap to survive in this league.
Yeah.
With the experience you've had at Newcastle and your knowledge of that team, come on, is there enough there for them to get out of there?
There's enough there if you use the squad to its full value, and I don't want to be seen to be criticising anybody there. No, but you've got to take each game as it comes for me. You've got to plan to play against the opposition, because you're not going to be just good enough to just go out and play against them and think you can win playing the way you want to play. You've got to understand the way the opposition plays in every single game, and then go out and pick a team to make sure that they match that effort from the opposition and get a result out of it to breed the confidence. And you've seen Reading come through by changing the style an awful lot in the last 2 games. Lost 7 on the trot, and then go and win 2 games. So it's easy. It's easy to turn around at the bottom. And look what 2 wins on the trot will do for anybody. 2 wins on the trot for Newcastle now, and it'll all be forgotten.
Look what 3 wins on the trot can do, because Liverpool have retaken 4th, scored 10 goals along the way. Goal difference now, look, better than Everton's. It wasn't that way a couple of games at least back. There is your Sky Sports form guide. Those are the last 6 league games. Derby are in better form than Newcastle United right now. Manchester City falling into trouble. They're 18th down there. There are the top 2. Nobody in better form at the moment than Liverpool all of a sudden. Relegation odds. Derby gone, Fulham going, Bolton 15-8. You can get 3s on Birmingham, Sunderland, and Wigan 7-2, 4-1 Newcastle. 4-1 Reading, who, as Sam has said, has won the last 2. Middlesbrough trailing to Cardiff at the moment in the FA Cup, 8-1. This is what happened at Anfield yesterday. Liverpool, with a little fortune, I think it's fair to say, Andy, took them apart. Or certainly, when I say fortune, the early goal was a fortune.
I think that's quite an extraordinary goal. I was listening to the game coming home after our game yesterday, and you know, for 40 minutes Newcastle had done all right. They're heading for half time. They're about a minute and a half, 2 minutes away, and going in at half time 0-0 at Anfield, feeling pretty good. And within 2 minutes, Harper and goal, and the man is on fire. Torres, I mean, people like us who have been saying, you know, he's got to play this guy, and he's continually left him out of sides. We're now seeing in the last 4 games why people are saying you have to play Torres. He's 22, 23. People that age don't need resting, not when they're playing with form. Just look at this, and the combination that in the last 4 or 5 games that he and Gerrard have put together has been fantastic for Liverpool, and they've struck form right on cue as far as the Champions League is concerned, with a massive game.
Does that tell you something
Tuesday
about Rafa Benitez's priorities?
I don't know. I don't know if I could answer that. What do you think, Sam? What do you guys think?
Rafa Benitez's priority has been the Champions League for quite a while for me, I think, personally, because they've rotated the side so much in the Premiership and lost that in 4th spot. And I think this year was a change, though. I do think this year, as he started the season, he'd changed his priority, but unfortunately, too many draws have killed that now, and there's the Champions League now really to only look forward to.
Yeah, I think I definitely think this was a year that we're going to make a real challenge, Liverpool, and I'm really been disappointed with them. They've been so inconsistent, and especially inconsistent with team selection as well.
What about Torres? How good is he?
Oh, he looks the full thing. You know, he's 6'2", 6'3". He's comfortable on the ball. He's a good runner for such a tall boy. He's a lovely athlete, and now he's adding goals to it as well. So you know, he's the end product. He's turned a
2-player race, isn't he, for the top goal scorer in about 8 days, 9 days. You know, a three-player race. I mean, it was Adebayor or Ronaldo 2 weeks ago. That was all you could see, and now suddenly, with 7 goals in quick succession, 2 hat-tricks in the one yesterday, he's gone from 12 to 19. And now has an absolutely wonderful opportunity to win it.
He's been a great player since he was 18, by the way. Atletico Madrid. He's been playing since then. It's just been impossible to get him out of Atletico Madrid because it was 30-40 million euros. Because they have it written into the contract at that stage, like I mean. Well, not at Bolton. But he's been that good since he was 18, I tell you. And it's you know, it's a bit of maturity now, and in his early 20s, Rafa's taken the plunge at 20-odd million and doesn't that look cheap now?
Doesn't it? Oh. Andy, we'll let you go and prepare for your second job.
Thank
you very much, appreciate that. Sam Allardyce and George Graham are staying with us. We're at the JJB with Wigan and Arsenal. Much better, Wigan, since Steve Bruce came here. Much better. But it's a job and a half today against the league leaders who have a chance to go 4 points clear at the top.
Monday Night Live. Promotion hopefuls Chesterfield take on Paulings' title-chasing MK Dons.
Go for goal! Absolute stunner!
Tomorrow, 7:30 with Sky Bet, Sky Sports 1 and HD 1.
Go, go, go! Come on!
Toyota Yaris. Treat it with respect.
We understand it takes more than one performance to win an Olympic gold medal. It takes thousands. We'd like to see if we can help you prepare for your future.
I need new glasses, but how can I afford them?
Hey, just say.
How can I keep up with their dental checkups?
Hey, just say.
And what if his back treatment gets expensive?
Hey, just say.
To help pay for checkups, treatment and emergencies.
Hey, just say.
HSA. Health plans, simple, affordable.
The Red Bull Flugtag, 7th of June, Hyde Park, London. To enter, visit redbullflugtag.co.uk.
Stand by.
There's a fine line between winning and losing. Sometimes, just a few millilitres.
If you're a keen saver and want to maximise your tax-free savings, here's an idea from Abby. Super ISA. Earn 10% tax-free on our instant access cash ISA when you put the same amount in our fixed-term guaranteed growth plan, an investment that keeps your capital safe. Call 0800 80 80 80. Abby, more ideas for your money.
With O2, nothing is lost. Store all your numbers and automatically save every text and photo message online. Keep your memories safe with Blue Book.
Victory was in their grasp.
What a patch this is for England.
But New Zealand inflicted a heavy defeat.
This is embarrassing for England.
Can Vaughan's men fight back in Wellington? The second test starts Wednesday, 9 p.m, Sky Sports 1.
Spanish football later looks like this. It's Valencia against Deportivo from 6 on Sky Sports 1. Barcelona 5 points back on Real, but they've lost 3 of their last 5, Real Madrid. They meet Villarreal, that's second against third, 8 o'clock, Sky Sports 1. We are with Wigan and Arsenal this afternoon. Nobody around Wigan, amongst their relegation rivals, is in better form than they are. This is their last 6. So, Steve Bruce, since taking charge at Wigan, has produced 19 points from 14 matches. You can see on the top line prior to that it was 8 from 14. That's a big, big improvement. 3 clean sheets in their last 4, importantly. Is that the basis of getting a way out of trouble, George?
Very much so. You know, he's sort of got to get the team organised. The trouble is when you're near the bottom, you've got to make sure you're disciplined, you've got a team organisation, you've got to actually look and think, right, a point's not a bad result, even sometimes at home, and you've got to keep, you know, and that gives the players, you know, a bit of confidence. You know, they're picking up a draw here and a draw there, where, you know, a lot of people would expect to lose. So you're actually building gradually all the time, and that's the only way to get out of trouble when you're at the bottom.
I think it's fair to say they've probably got better players here, Sam, than a lot of clubs around them, but they do still then need organising, don't they?
Yes, there's no doubt about that, and Steve and Eric Black have done that since day one they came here, and they put a certain energy into the side and said that we were going to, you know, play this certain way that suited the players that they had. Then they've added a few players in the transfer window.
Like Palacios?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a very interesting story, isn't it? I mean, Steve will tell you that Arsene has helped him really get back in the Premiership with Birmingham by the players he actually loaned to Birmingham from Arsenal. And then they got this player that they said wasn't quite good. Arsene told him wasn't quite good enough for Arsenal.
I think he had 5 days there, didn't he?
And he had 5 days training there, took him on loan, and then straight away snapped him up when he came here. And he's been a bit of a hero here, I think, and he looks like he's got great energy, really, really good ability as well.
If this has come from Arsenal, you find that the Arsenal boys are good athletes. It's one thing Arsene looks at when he's looking at all the players that come to the club. They've got to be good athletes and can sort of last easily 90 minutes.
But he appears to have a bit of everything for a midfield player, George, doesn't he? You know, he's seen putting his foot in there. We can see him in possession of the ball. He's a good athlete, like you said. And he nearly got the winner at Manchester City last week, late on in the last 5 or 10 minutes, where he broke from midfield, and it was a great save from Mark.
I think he was man of the match there, wasn't he?
I think this is it. This is the chance here, and this is a great save by Artie there, like, you know, and he should have perhaps put that one in, and shows he goes right to the very, very end, which is very, very important at this time of the year for somebody who's struggling down the bottom.
Can you afford to play your way out of trouble?
Depends on your team. Depends on the players that you've got. I remember Bolton and I struggled in the first year. We actually bought 3 or 4 players, Freddie Bobic, Stig Toftin and Yuri Yorkaev, and all of a sudden we're better quality and we could play that little bit more, and we had better finishers, and that's what kept us up ultimately in the end. In the end, it depends what you've got every individual game, and I think you've got to set your team out on who you're playing against and try and make sure that they're ready to do the right things and be disciplined, like George said, be organised, you know, and be well versed in what they need to do against the opposition. First to stop them playing, I think, when you're struggling a bit, and then to see what you can do against their weaknesses.
They're playing on a pitch which has had a fair bit of publicity in recent weeks. It's all marked up now for the Rugby League again, as you can see, but I think it's fair to say there is more grass on it now than there has been of late. That bare strap through the middle seems to have been repaired as well, but the manager Steve Bruce is downstairs on that pitch with Jeff Shreves.
Yes, Richard, we're down here on the not-so-hallowed turf. Steve, just how bad do you think this pitch is?
Well, we can't make any excuse that it is poor. But, you know, the groundsman has tried everything he possibly can. He's worked all sorts of hours to get it in some sort of shape. And unfortunately, it is poor. And obviously, with the rugby starting a couple of weeks ago, it is what it is. We can't make excuses for it. We've all played on bad pitches. We've got one. We'll try and do something about it when obviously we can.
If we actually have a look at it, what's wrong with it? Where does it go wrong for you?
Well, I think the big problem...
Can't you get down there?
No, I can't get down there. I've got a bad knee, Jeff. I think the big problem is obviously it's got no real root growth, so the top just comes off it. And, you know, it's a big problem for the groundsman. You can see he's tried to grow some grass on it, try and get it knitted again, but I think it goes down deeper. I'm no groundsman, but I know that the roots are a bit of a problem because it just keeps cutting up.
Does it work to your advantage, though?
Well, I watched us play last week against Man City, and we knocked the ball around really well in the last half hour. You know, you're at home, you want your pitch to be good. We've got some big games coming up, of course, you know, poor pitches are a bit of a leveller, so arguably you could say against Arsenal it's going to help us a little bit, maybe, you never know, but we can't just make the pitch the big issue. There's a football match to be played. We've played on bad pitches, we've got to get on with it.
There's been an awful lot of shocks so far this weekend. If you were to beat Arsenal today, for you, it would be up there amongst them?
It would. We've got to do that, and because they produced one of the best performances I've seen from an English team in Europe in the week. They were fantastic, so we know what we're up against. We've played well of late at home, especially. I hope we can go and impose ourselves on Arsenal and give them a right good game, and who knows, that's the beauty of football.
Thanks, Steve, all the best to you. Richard.
you know, and I'm sure there's one or two players of George's generation, perhaps, maybe even Sam's, who are looking at this pitch and saying, I tell you what, for March, that's not bad. Plenty of coverage on it.
Very
What's
good.
the fuss about?
Very good in March, Richard. I think it's fantastic. I mean, it's not as good as, say, some of the top grounds in the country, but yeah.
I mean, everything in perspective, surely. Oh, it's not bad, Sam, is it?
Tam will tell you, if you lose, players will always make excuses, especially
Correct.
they'll say, look at the pitch right away, the pitch is awful, what can we do about it? But if you win, you just get on with it.
I'll tell you what, Richard, that pitch has recovered an awful lot in the last month or so compared to what it was in the winter months, and there's a lot more grass on it than when we played, and I was here with Newcastle when we lost 1-0. So I think that there's a lot been said about it. If Steve wants to play on that and it gets in the Arsenal players' minds or Arsenal figures, then great. That's what it's all about. Whether it'll make any difference in the end, I don't know.
I mean, it's not pleasant on the eye, the rugby league markings, is it? But Arsenal won't be put off by that, will they?
No, I don't think so. I think that the markings will be immaterial. I mean, I think I said before, I've seen Arsenal's training ground with similar markings on when I was there many years ago. I don't know whether they still use it in terms of what they want.
Why would they do that?
I suppose I don't really know, because I never actually saw them train, or I didn't ask them. But
there could be areas of the pitch where they're working on the back four, pressing up closer to the midfield. Could be for the midfield to close up on the front two. I don't know why they don't dye the white lines across the pitch. Why don't they dye them green? They do that at golf.
Good point. Good point. Might kill the grass.
It shouldn't. No, it wouldn't. It doesn't do it at golf.
At the top two, Emile Heskey, who is very experienced at this level, Marlon King, who's not so much, but a big bruiser for all that. Just one Premier League goal between them so far this season. I know King hasn't had the same amount of time at this level as Emile Heskey, but that's not a return for two forwards, is it? One.
No, it's not very good, but looking at today's teams, Richard, you know, you've got Arsenal, they've brought in Gilberto now, so they're expecting, I think, a physical game, probably in your face. So now they've put Fabregas right of a too solid defensive and more physical midfield players. So they're expecting, I think, a physical game today, and it'll be interesting how it pans out.
What about King, who didn't get the opportunity to kick a ball with Watford when they came up because of the knee injury? There were questions as to whether he could produce at this level. What's your view?
I think the injury was a really serious one. I think a cruciate ligament, if I remember rightly, and I think it depends how well he has recovered from that as a player. If he's had the right rehab and he's recovered fully, then he looked good enough to cause a lot of problems early on for Watford in the Premiership, and probably one of the reasons they went down, because they didn't have him.
What would you do with Emile Heskey, George, who on his day can be sensational, but unfortunately his day doesn't come around too often, does it?
Well, you got it. I mean, I remember doing a few games when he was playing for Liverpool, and you know, there's some games, you know, he looks fantastic. He's big, he's strong, he's a good athlete. Sometimes you've just got to accept, you know, his faults. He's not consistent enough. You know, he'll go from a high to a low very quickly. Sometimes you just think he's at the top level, at the Liverpool level, he's a good squad player, and he'll play his little batch of games, probably 6 to 8 games, you'll think, oh, he's on fire, and then he'll have his bad 6 or 8 games. So you've just got to be, being a manager, you've got to be clever and realise, you know, when he's ready to go down, you maybe grab him out.
He should be a beast, shouldn't he, the size of him?
Yeah, but you can't give people this, you know, this heart, this desire. Players have either got it or they haven't got it.
What would you do?
Gentle giant scenario for me, I think. You know, as big as a frame he is, as strong as he is. I've seen Emile Heskey play from 16 in Leicester's first team midfield, and then moved up front, and Martin O'Neill nurtured him too in them early years, and when he's on song and when he's upset, that's when he looks at his best, but he doesn't seem to get upset enough for me. Now, whether Steve can do something about that or not, I don't know, but it just looks like a little bit of a gentle giant scenario, which George says you can't give that to a player, no matter how big or small he is. But he is on his day as good as anybody.
Doesn't finish enough games.
I think it's his nature, Richard, to be nice. He's got a nice nature, and that's one of the hardest things, to actually put a bit more devilment into him, and that's just the way you've just got to accept it sometimes.
Might have upset him talking about him. It's bad news for Arsenal. We are at the JJB with Wigan and the league leaders, who have a chance, of course, to go 4 points clear at the top. Got to win here in order to do that. They're off the back of that fabulous performance in Milan midweek, and we'll talk about them when we come back.
Oh, pineapple treats. I was listening there.
There's a new way to experience an old classic.
Right.
Brighter.
Yeah.
Clearer.
Got it.
Sharper.
You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
Well, he's always been sharp. As part of the Michael Caine season, the world premiere in high definition.
Very nice.
Zulu and the Italian Job on Sky Movie Screen 1 HD.
Mood swing? Mode swing. By just a touch. New from LG, the KF600.
People think life in California is one big vacation, but it's really a lot of work.
We have board meetings.
Board meeting.
Lots of board meetings. We're always playing catch up. We're really just a bunch of pencil pushers.
We work with some real characters.
We're always working weekends.
We burn the midnight oil.
Hey, it's a dirty job.
But someone's got to do it. So if California seems like your kind of work,
We've got one question.
When can you start?
California. Find yourself here.
More is making you feel valued. That's why we now welcome all our new car insurance customers with 1 month's free insurance in the first year, and then 2 months free insurance in the second year, and every year after that, unless you claim. And that means lots more happy drivers. More than. We do more.
In a real Italian pizzeria, the pizza has rich toppings and a crispy thin base in a wide range of flavors. And that's exactly how Pizza Ristoranti is. Wherever you are, Ristoranti, the pizzeria taste. Ristoranti by Dr. Oetker.
At the Carphone Warehouse, laptops are free. Just join AOL Broadband Wireless Plus with its built-in security and free phone support. And get a free laptop that's yours to keep forever. It's perfect for going online upstairs, downstairs, or even in the garden. So call 0800 1 444 444. Go online or visit any of our stores before the free laptops get away.
At Orange, we know that everyone is different. That's why we give our customers the freedom to choose between 4 pay monthly phone packages. Canary, raccoon, panther, and dolphin. From unlimited calls to unlimited texts, we have a plan to suit you.
Listening there?
Don't forget the FA Cup semi-final draw, 1:25 Monday, Sky Sports News. Cardiff, incidentally, still 2-up at Middlesbrough. About 10-15 minutes of that match left. Tomorrow, later in the day, Chesterfield meet the MK Dons. A win for the Dons, they go top again. Peterborough took over this weekend. That's a 7:30 start, Sky Sports 1. We are live at the JJB with Wigan and Arsenal. Programme available on HD1, channel 408, if you want to watch in high definition. In for the Gunners this afternoon, Gilberto is a starter. Also starting this afternoon, Nicholas Bentner, for only the second time in the Premier League. He plays up top alongside Adebayor. Well, let's talk about the crisis at Arsenal now. What crisis? They've been beaten just once all season. They have won 4 of their last 6, scoring 14 goals in that time. plays alongside Nicholas Bentner today. We're speculating because we don't know that they don't like each other, and suggestions on the pitch that that's the case. Does that necessarily matter when you get the jersey on?
No, not really. Yeah. During the week, some players get on with they've got their friends and they don't sort of mix well with the boys and all that. But once you're sort of like you're training and once you actually go out there on the pitch, you know, I don't think there's any problem. And you've got Adebayor, you know, for me, definitely one of the most improved players. You know, it was a big decision to get rid of Thierry Henry. Henry had a bad season before he went, but now they got rid of him. They've played Adebayor, and definitely he's one of the most improved players, not only at Arsenal, but in the Premiership, alongside Flamini. But this guy's got everything, and I think he's still got more to come. He's still got more to come, and I think he could be easily one of the best in the Premiership and in Europe.
Ever played with or managed players who didn't like each other?
Yeah, I have, yeah. I'm not going to name them like, but that's unfair to do that. But there's a few. But I think in the end,
famously,
if you're the manager and you know that, then that's okay. You just watch out that it doesn't cause every problems of friction-wise. But generally, if they don't like each other, they don't come into contact with each other too much. They get on. They know they're professional. And you know, Arsenal's got a great team spirit. So nothing, even if they don't get on quite so well, it's not affecting what they're trying to do or how they're going to go about the job, like, you know. But to have 22 or 24 players and expect them all to get on together, I mean, it's a bit of a nonsense, really, isn't it? There's bound to be conflicts between the players. What you don't do is let it spill over publicly, really. That's one of the problems today, isn't it? Anything that happens seems to sneak out in the press, and it seems to be a big thing. You know, you've got 24 professional players, you can't expect them all to get on together.
The only ever present in Arsenal's ranks, incidentally, Gaël Clichy, their left full-back. Everybody else has been in and out for one reason or another, not him. And of course, the last time that we saw him, he was right at the heart of an incident that we're all still talking about.
Maybe for some players to see, you know, the face of Eduardo is quite difficult. The mistake I've done before the penalty was a big thing, and I'm not scared about saying that I cost 2 points for the team. It's not the way I would have reacted, but we know William is a passionate guy, and you know, I understand.
It was hardly a crisis, but after frittering away 4 points in 2 games, not many expected what happened on Tuesday night.
Fabregas opens it up for the shot. Oh, what a goal!
People were questioning, you know, the attitude of the team, if we could make it away at San Siro, and we showed that we could make it, and we did it with, you know, playing well. So the experience is not the problem anymore, because winning, you know, San Siro is a big result, and I'm sure we can look forward for the end of the season.
Gaël Clichy is the only Arsenal player to have started every Premier League game this season. First and foremost a defender, his attacking role this season has changed considerably, as he now supplies plenty of crosses post Thierry Henry for Emmanuel Adebayor.
But of course, when you have a player like this, you have to cross the ball and to put the ball in the box, because you know you're going to score goals against Fulham, against Man City. When you give the ball back to Eduardo, the last game against Aston Villa, you have to use it because he's such a great player in the air. And of course, it's really nice, you know, when you can, you know, go forward and then deliver some nice balls. So we work on it with Back and the wide player. With Sanya, and I think, you know, this season that's been one of the key for Arsenal.
Clichy is one of 3 Frenchmen in the Arsenal back 4, but what language do they use out on the pitch?
When we speak French, but in the game, you know, when the action is coming, we just talk in English, because that's the language we talk every day. And for myself, it's better, so I practice my English.
Clichy became the youngest player to win a Premier League medal, but then suffered injuries before ultimately replacing Ashley Cole and becoming one of the best fullbacks in the league. But while he's created many goals for others, he's still waiting to get off the mark himself.
It's about time you scored, isn't it?
I knew that was coming. Well, 5 years, I've got nothing to say really. Every day I think about it, and I hope it will come, before the end of the season, but it's not the main important thing for me. Like I said, I really enjoy delivering some ball for the striker and the midfield, but of course 1 goal for Arsenal will be quite welcome.
better than, as good as, getting as good as Ashley Cole, or what?
Yeah, I think Ashley Cole, when he was at Arsenal, I think probably was a better, he's a better player. Since Ashley's left Arsenal, I think Clichy now has actually overtaken Ashley. I think he's quicker. I think he's got to do a bit more work. It's a funny thing for me to say this. He's got to do a bit more work in the attacking third, because he can get in there. He is quick, great athlete, and he's got to do a lot more 1-2s, not just for crossing, but actually get into, have shots on goal himself. That's all he needs to do.
You like the look of him?
Oh, fantastic. I think that he's been there such a long time as well. I think he picked him up very, very early from a struggling French club. I can't remember.
5 years. He's only 22.
He's only 22, and he's as he's come on. It's typical Arsenal. He gets them young, and he starts throwing them in pretty early. So they might still be young, but they've got plenty of experience, these players. And he seems to have relished since Ashley Cole has gone now, and he's taken the opportunity brilliantly, playing every single game. I mean, I think that's absolutely fantastic. I think, a real quality fullback, one of the best in the Premiership, no doubt about that.
As a proud Gunner, what did you make of William Gallas's protest at Birmingham the other week?
I thought it was a bit theatrical. I think sometimes, if you're a captain, you've got to show example. You've got to get the trust of the players and the confidence of the players. And anything that's you think you want to pass over to them, you do it in the dressing room. You don't do it in the pitch in front of everybody. I was surprised actually when he made him the skipper at the beginning of the season.
Is that perhaps with an intent to control his temperament, to control that sort of behaviour? Is the armband supposed to make him think in a way he didn't at Birmingham?
Captains, Richard, there's few and far between great captains. And I've been fortunate. I played with one at Arsenal, and Frank McClintock, Tony Adams, another one, and they're great leaders. They're great leaders, and everybody recognises great leadership in captains. But for me, at the beginning of the season, I was wondering who they were going to make captain, and it surprised me they made Gallas captain.
What would you have done with him after the game at Birmingham?
I think through the week, a quiet word, just to see what problems that he actually had, and then sort of chew over the sort of responsibilities that he has with the armband. Because I've seen him holding court before a game with a number of the Arsenal players around him, and sort of talking around how they're going to play, probably, perhaps, and so he's worn the armband with the responsibility. And I think this is the first time we've seen a little nick in the armour, to say he might be letting them down a little bit. But once in a blue moon, that's okay. I'm sure Arsene and him have had a conversation about it, and with the players, it's all forgotten.
You've had famously words with Arsene Wenger, and you've noised his teams up on the pitch as well. You've had a look at them at close quarters. Is this set? Is this team as good as he's had? Could it go on to achieve things at Arsenal others haven't?
I think from the purest, from a football point of view, I think it's the best he's had. From that little bit of steel that the old team used to have, that's probably the only thing missing out of this one. Whether he'll need that, only time will tell. But certainly at the moment, they're in good course to win the championship, which will prove him right, that he's lost that sort of steely edge that he had with Henry and Petit and Adams and people like that, Keown. And he's come through that period where they said they looked like they got a little bit soft. Now they've got, with experience, they've tightened up in that area, and they're playing some fantastic football and winning and still at the top of the league. So you can't argue with the way they play. I mean, absolutely fantastic. What you've got to do is just hope when you play them that they have a bad day, which is a possibility today after the AC Milan result, I think, and you can actually stop them playing in the areas that they like to threaten you the most, and you may get something.
We started the afternoon talking about Flamini and Fabregas. Interesting that after everybody else had gone in, they stayed out there, the two of them, just knocking balls around. Significant or not, George? Should we read anything into that?
No, sometimes you get the boys, they're all different, Richard. Some lads like to get in early, some even don't like a really good warm-up. They just go through the motions. But once the game starts, they're all going to be together. But talking about how good is this team going to be, I don't think they're as good just yet, as the team that went throughout the season undefeated. They had world-class players. We're talking about Henry, we're talking about Bergkamp, even Perez. Just now, I think Fabregas is world class and could be even better in midfield. But there's other ones like Adebayor can be world class, but not just yet.
Interesting, because this set probably got a better chance of winning Champions League.
Well, that to me is what I think Arsene, who, by the way, I think is, you know, the best manager ever for Arsenal. I think Arsenal's got to win the Champions League for me, because when you've got a CV like he's got, he's won everything, but you're still not recognised throughout Europe and the world, you know, until you win that Champions League.
5 matches between Wigan and Arsenal in the Premier League. Gunners have won them all. There was, of course, the match back end of last season, was it? When Danny Lansdown had put Wigan in front at the Emirates. That was a fairly controversial end to it, but nevertheless it did end up with Arsenal winning. 5 out of 5 it is. 2 from 2 here. Cardiff are through to the semi-finals of the FA Cup. They have beaten Middlesbrough 2-0. At White Hart Lane, Spurs still lead against West Ham, 2-0. Berbatov, the scorer of both those goals. We're with Wigan and Arsenal, commentators Andy Gray and Ian Dark.
Well, what next on this dramatic weekend, I wonder? Let's check the teams for you. Chris Kirkland, good to see him having an injury-free run now. No change at the back, where former Spurs man Eric Edman is a recent addition. In midfield, Jason Kumas keeps his place, even though Kevin Kilban and Ryan Taylor are fit again. Up front, Emil Heskey and Marlon King haven't scored yet as a partnership. And on the bench, no Marcus Spent. He has a shin injury, but Taylor and Kilban are back there.
Don't think there'll be any surprise in how Steve Bruce sets up his side, and an awful lot depends on that midfield quartet. It's important that they don't get the ball passed round them and they don't allow Arsenal to settle in. Jason Kumas, interesting one that Steve Bruce has decided to keep in the side. He's not a natural left-sided player. He won't do too much going that way, but will drift in. And that won't be such a bad thing when we see Arsenal set up, because they'll be narrow on that side of the pitch as well. So it'll suit Kumas to try and get involved. Huge emphasis on Michael Brown, I think, being the disciplined one of these 4 and getting across the front and stopping people playing, and as to use a term that Sam Allardyce used earlier with me, getting in their faces and upsetting Arsenal. So it's a big job for those 4. The one thing that worries me, I look at these 10 outfield players, Ian, 7 Premier League goals between them, and 4 of them have come from Sharna.
Well, what about Arsenal? Of course, it's Manuel Almunia in goal these days. Same back 4 who did so well in Milan. In midfield, Walcott's got a thigh injury and Abue is still suspended. So Gilberto comes in and Fabregas moves further to the right. Up front, Benna and Adebayor starting together in the Premier League for the first time. On the bench, good news, Robin van Persie, Kolo Touré, Alex Song all fit again, just as well because 6 others are still unavailable.
A little change in what Arsenal would normally like to play. They would like to play one just off. That's the way their normal one, with Adebayor up top, but they've been forced to play Bentner. I do expect them to play up alongside Adebayor and try and get things going together. A couple of changes. I talk about Kumas, well, I do think Fabregas will play infield. I don't think we're going to see him stuck out on that right side. Yes, he might have to fill in there when he's defending, but I do expect still to see him get forward, to come in from this area. It also might mean, with Gilberto holding, that we might see a little bit more of Matthew Flamini as an attacking midfield player today than usual, because he knows that Gilberto will just sit in at the back there. So keep a little eye open for that as well.
Well, from the glamour of Milan, where Arsenal were simply sensational, I think everybody in English football agrees with that, to the glue pot, which is the pitch at the JJB. Can they play their passing football on this surface?
Well, they'll try. I mean, the one thing about the surface, it's wet. I mean, had this been a dry, bumpy day and a dry, bumpy surface, it would be difficult, but with so much water being on it, just deaden it a little. The grass that is on it is quite long. Ian had a little walk on it earlier, and it's quite long to protect it. But Steve Bruce said it's not that. It's the fact that the surface comes up, the surface lifts, comes off. So that's the trouble that they might have. I can think of a lot of other places that Arsene Wenger would like to have been taking his team today than Wigan on a blowy, wet day with a pitch like this after a great result midweek.
He seemed philosophical and resigned about the pitch when we spoke to him backstage before the game began here downstairs, just as the teams were being announced. Wigan, though, are in good form. They've won their last 2 home games here, and it's a spirited run they're producing now under Steve Bruce. 19 points from 14 matches. That's a survival schedule, Andy.
It is. When you equate that, if he'd have been here for the whole league, that would give them 38 points if they'd got the same from the first 14. And that's pretty much safe. So that shows you what a good job Steve, Eric Black and Keith Bertson and co that have come up from Birmingham.
And Wigan have picked a pretty attacking side today. No thoughts of 4-5-1. It's a key game, of course, at both ends of the table. Wigan against Arsenal, and it comes up live for you.
And so Big Bill McGill set off to cross the Atlantic in his wee boat. And on that day, Big Bill became the biggest thing to cross the Atlantic. Until now.
Getting hit in the face hurts, but you know what hurts more?
A kick in the crotch?
America's biggest comedy, 2.5 Men. Brand new and exclusive to Paramount Comedy 1.
My name is Optimus Prime. Get ready for fantastic films at amazing prices.
Better out than in, I always say.
In the Paramount Stars DVD promotion.
You can't be serious. I am serious, and don't call me Shook.
Paramount Stars, massive movies on DVD from $2.99 each for a limited time.
You stay classy, San Diego.
I saw it! It's you!
Oh my God! Leave Benny alone!
Meet the Spartans.
Okay, honchos, our new bank customer call centre. Where? Or as they say in Espanol, donde?
Spain.
It's a bit obvious, Steve.
Portugal?
Come on, guys, spread your wings.
All right, Morocco.
No, sandflies. Ugh.
Great Barrier Reef.
Box jellyfish.
Yeah.
Excuse me, why can't we just talk to our customers in the UK? That's where they live.
The UK.
The UK.
There is another way. At NatWest, you can talk to a call centre in the UK 24/7 or call your local branch direct. NatWest, another way.
I know. Delhi.
It's not very central, is it? It is central in India, Will.
At the Carphone Warehouse, laptops are free. Just join AOL Broadband Wireless Plus with its built-in security and free phone support. And get a free laptop that's yours to keep forever. It's perfect for going online upstairs, downstairs, or even in the garden. So call 0800 444 Go online or visit any of our stores before the free laptops get away.
Tesco Car Insurance. If you're a Club Card customer and buy a policy before April the 2nd, we'll give you £50 to spend at Tesco, whether it's on petrol for your motor or just fuel for your family. Tesco Car Insurance. Every little helps.
He has the potential. This could be his year. But he must beat the best to become a master. A new season of Masters Tennis starts next Saturday, 6 p.m. Sky Sports Extra. Follow the biggest names as they go head-to-head in the ATP Masters Series, live only on Sky Sports.
That's the Arsenal end at the JJB, virtually sold out. Terrific numbers of support following the Gunners north today up the M1 and M6. It's a very pleasant afternoon as well so far. Our live Barclays Premier League football, Wigan against Arsenal, who have a chance here to go 4 points clear. We are interactive this afternoon. If you wish to enjoy that facility, push the red button on the remote and follow the instructions. The match available in high definition on channel 408 HD1. Commentators Andy Gray and Ian Dark.
Thank you very much indeed, Richard. Good afternoon, everybody. Well, this man was the master puppeteer, wasn't he? Pulling all the strings in midfield in the San Siro. Cesc Fabregas, what a performance that was, not only by him, but by Arsenal. Headline in Gazzetta, the big Italian sports Bible the next day, Milan, the end. That's what Arsenal did to them, but this is different kind of business, and they're facing a side with plenty of belief about them just at the moment in Wigan Athletic on this difficult pitch here at the JJB. Gallas looking to hit it longer. Remember, Arsenal have dropped points in their last 2 games against Birmingham City, that traumatic day at St Andrews, and then against Aston Villa last week. Although looking back on it, I think Arsene Wenger thinks that was a 0.1 with Bentner equalising in stoppage time. Here's Gilberto, who's been brought in today to Kleb.
Now you see Fabregas already.
Lovely ball, and straight away Adebayor with a chance for Arsenal. What a save that is by Chris Kirkland. His first touch to keep Wigan in business.
Well, just what I talked about with Cesc Fabregas. Not, even though he is selected to play right side, never going to stay there, drifts in field, and what a beautiful weighted pass. I just thought he might have gone round the goalie. Maybe he thought with a defender either side, he didn't have the room, but what a save from the goalkeeper.
Well, how vital might that be? Arsenal could have been ahead within seconds. Here's Adebayor again. Of course, they'll be oozing confidence, Arsenal, if they've managed to get down from cloud 9.
Oh, they'll be down. Make no mistake about the desire to win this title. There's very few of them, I think, out there. Well, Gallas, maybe. Can't think of too many others that have got a championship medal.
Clichy made 12 appearances, didn't he, in the 2004 year?
Yeah.
Well, that's it. You're right, Andy. So there's not a lot of title-winning experience in the side.
Yeah, so I do think they have a huge desire to win this.
And they've started fast here. Already a big chance. Now they have a free kick on the edge of the box.
Yeah, they don't have a natural left footer without Van Persie in the side. This sort of area, you'd expect to see Van Persie come over and have a little look and show a bit of interest. They've loaded the box, you can see that.
Gallas and Senderos forward. The aerial ability of Bentner. Gilberto's in there as well as Adebayor.
7 of them.
Yeah. Oh. Even Kleb. Rob Stiles, make sure it's the full 10 yards. Here's the Fabregas delivery. Wigan get a nick on it. Gallas tries to play it back in again. It's come to Kleb, who had a brilliant game the other night against the experienced silky Milan midfield.
Well, the one thing I do know is that Wigan will make it more difficult than Milan did, as they will try and get in their faces and break the game up as much as possible and play at a tempo that they can cope.
10 games to go for Arsenal, and for each of the last 4 seasons, the team who have been top at this stage have gone on to win the title. Marlon King couldn't bring it under control. Sanya got a brave header in. Here's Eric Edmond. Arsenal fans will remember him as a former Spurs player. I'm sure he'll get a bit of good-natured banter.
Those centre forwards drifting away, long way from this ball. Suggests it's going in there.
Edmond's long throw travels a long way, nearly as far as Valencia, who was waiting on the back post. Here's Adebayor again, looking to run Mario Melchiot. Support from Bentner. Back to Adebayor again. And he got his shot away, but it was a great block there in the end from Melchior.
Nice little interplay with the two front men. Showed a huge desire, Bentner, to get up with Adebayor. He was a long way away from him when he first collected it, Adebayor.
It's Adebayor again. Away by Michael Brown.
That'll boost his confidence. Philip Senderos I'm talking about. Colatori fit and on the bench again, yet Senderos keeps his place.
It's Robin van Persie. That'll seem like a new player, new signing almost for Arsenal. They've hardly seen him in recent months. Here's Kumas, player who could unlock any defence if he's in the mood. Keeping his place today, even though Kilban and Taylor are fit again for Wigan. Here's Sanya. He's looked a fine signing by Arsene Wenger, the right back.
Oh, that's
free kick goes Arsenal's way.
That is no way a free kick. I'm sorry, Rob. Rob Styles, the referee today. He just turns into trouble here. Edmund put foot on the ball, stops the ball. You tell me what's wrong with that. He could be in for a stop-start day, if that's the standard we've got at the moment for free kicks.
Again, a host of red shirts. Our forward Kirkland, though, plucks that one out of the air. It's good to see that the injuries which beset him for so many seasons seem to be behind him. We hope we don't put the curse on him by saying that.
Yeah, it was an easy catch for him. Just think with all those players in there, Arsenal, it's 2 free kicks they've had now. The spread of players, the 7 of them who have gone in, hasn't been great.
Valencia taking on Clichy on that side. Valencia's really come to himself in recent months after being homesick in the early phase of his career with Wigan. 20 of the 27 points they've got, Wigan, have come here at the JJB. They fancy themselves a bit here at the moment. Melchior has played long towards Kumas, who got his head to it, and then Palacios with the effort, player who was on trial at Arsenal last summer and who was recommended to Steve Bruce when he was at Birmingham by Arsene Wenger.
Just gets a little excited here. Might just have had to check his stride there when he arrived at the ball. It was a little high, unable to control it.
Offside against Bentner here. Rare start in the Premier League for Nicholas Bentner. He's only started one previous game. That was in the 4-1 win at Everton, a day when he got a red card. But a vital contribution last week for certain, that equaliser against Villa. Kumas. This is Eric Edmund. Wants to slip it down the side for Marlon King to run onto. King still waiting for his first Wigan goal.
That's nice, that though. You see Kumas trying to do for Wigan what Fabregas will do, drift in from this side, get involved in the centre of the field more and play the ball. If Fabregas goes in with him, it might just leave a bit of space for Edmund to move into.
Another long throw. Brown tries to get a shot away. Not really away by Flamini. Marky up, the club captain of Wigan, the former Chelsea man who has played against Arsenal in an FA Cup final. Bentner. Trying to link up with Adebayor now. Fabregas. Clapped off the pitch they were at the San Siro the other night, Arsenal. Draw for the next round of the Champions League coming up on Friday, which will be more than fascinating.
You know, the crowd appreciating that pressure, forcing Arsenal to go all the way back to Almunia. Won't faze Arsenal too much. Quite happy to keep possession of the ball if they have to go back to come forward. Quite happy to do that.
Fabregas. Flamini nicked it away. Bentner wants to try the shot.
Deflection, little neck off someone on the way through there. See, just drops off the back four a little into a little bit of space, Nicholas Bentner. He's always happy to take the shot on. A little flick there off Emerson Boyce. Takes it wide of the goal.
Plenty of early pressure here from the leaders. Well defended by Emil Heskey. Clichy.
Shot.
Hard to say, wasn't it?
That's for the stats man to decide, I guess.
Well, we saw that interview with Jeff Shreves beforehand, where he said he thinks every day about scoring his first Arsenal goal.
I mean, it comes out in the central area. Just takes a touch on it, and well, if that's a shot, it's hugely ambitious. It might just have been an overhit pass for William Gallas's run.
He seemed cheerful enough about the statistic, but he'd like to put it right, I think, the left back.
Do you know, I just wondered with Fabregas when, you know, we got the team and we saw that Gilberto was in, and there's no real natural width. I just wondered whether with Gilberto being there and the holding player, whether they'd play Flamini on the right. You know, he's got great engine, Flamini, and he can play this right-hand side. Played right back for a long time, so he knows that. And I just wondered, why move Fabregas from an area where he's hugely influential, and we'll see what happens, whether it develops that way.
It's all pretty fluid at the moment, isn't it? As we rather suspected. They've had to improvise a bit because Aboué is serving the third game of his suspension, domestic suspension that is, and of course Theo Walcott came back from that game in Milan where he set up the second goal, and they played him in a behind closed doors game against an American side, set up for Robin van Persie to help get fit. And Walcott came on near the end and picked up a thigh injury, which ruled him out today, which wasn't the general idea. Gilberto's little touch.
It's so important for Wigan today, though, to take anything from this game. 3 clean sheets in the last 4. It looks to me like they might need another one. That would be the basis of any success they're going to get, keeping Arsenal out. I don't think they'll outscore Arsenal. We talked about the lack of goals on this side. Sharma, 4 Premier League goals, top goal scorer of these 10 outfield players.
Emil Heskey's only got 1 all season.
Heskey 1, Valencia 1, and Kumas 1. The only others.
Here is Valencia taking on Clichy. He's done well here. Palacios didn't get hold of it at all, really.
Well, that was a better chance. Super touch from Luis Antonio Valencia. That was a lovely first touch. I actually thought if he'd have trusted his left foot more, he might have taken the shot on himself. He rather scuffed it when it came back to him.
Sign of the times in the Premier League, and Ecuadorian winger plays it back to a midfield player from Honduras.
Yes, it's very much a League of Nations now, isn't it?
Not always United Nations either.
Well, that's why the fun's still in it.
It's worth remembering that on their run-in they've got Manchester United and Chelsea away, Arsenal, and they also have home games with Liverpool and Everton. So the run-in could be easier.
Well, it's 4 tough ones out of 10, there's no doubt about that.
Which is why they certainly won't want another slip up today in terms of drop points. Manchester United have cut the lead from 5 points to 1 in recent times. A few Manchester United fans supporting Wigan today for an hour and a half, that's for certain.
Yeah,
and Chelsea fans too, of course.
Hoping their old player, Steve Bruce, can do them a favour.
Here's Kleb. Good ball to Adebayor. Bentner made a good run to show himself. It's found its way back to Adebayor, maybe a little fortuitously. One thing Wigan have worked pretty hard on since Steve Bruce arrived is making themselves tighter at the back. They were let in 2 a game and they were going to go down, I think, doing that.
Absolutely. I think the big plus has been Sharma. Normally you expect to see him playing in the midfield area of the pitch, but dropped back in between beside Emerson Boyce and playing pretty well together, both of them.
And of course that partnership has meant that Titus Bramble has lost his place. He's on the bench again today. Here's Gael Clichy. Flamini wants it and gets it, having a terrific season. Of course, Mathieu Flamini keeping Gilberto out of the side for most of the season in that central midfield area.
Well, there's no sign of Wigan going and actually pressing high up the pitch at the moment. Not surprised at that early on in the game. They're going to allow Arsenal to come probably so far, halfway line, and then start to apply the pressure like that. But quite happy for Senderos and Gallas and Clichy and Sagna to pop it along the back.
Clichy overlapping at Bentner's latched onto this and tried to cut it back, but it was a bit of an air shot in the end.
Yeah, he's thinking you don't get those bobbles at the Emirates, do you? This sits up, there's no doubt. The ball's not meant for him, it's actually meant for Clichy. But as he goes to swing, you see it just sit up and it jumps quite a bit. You keep an eye on this now as he plays it. Has a little look there, it sits up. Just makes a mess of it. And that's a couple of times already that the little Spanish magician has just drifted infield and played two one-touch passes. One that's put Adebayor through and another that's just putting Bentner through.
It's amazing to think Fabregas is still only 20. He's only 12 games away from 200 appearances.
Staggering. No one should be that good.
Well, there's a lot of people starting to say he's going to be a contender for World Player of the Year after outshining Kaká the other night, but there might be one or two other contenders there.
He needs a few more games like that, doesn't he? Talked about, I think, influence in the big games will put him up to another level. But they're enjoying a lot of the possession so far. Pretty dominant. I think we might have expected that early on.
Still no chance to better the one they had almost from the kick-off. Arsenal with Adebayor right through and Chris Kirkland becoming a Wigan hero with his save. So much of the ball. Fabregas looking to thread another one through to Adebayor. It's all very, very tight. Kleb. Into Adebayor. Are they going to pass their way through to the goal here? Oh, Fabregas was nearly on the end of it, but Edmund nicked it away.
Well, they do at times seem to try and walk it in, don't they, Arsenal?
And you wonder for a moment there whether they were actually going to do it.
Well, that's a really late decision from Rob Styles. Looked to me like he was quite happy with Kleb's challenge and allowed it to go and then decided to change his mind. I think that's what Kleb's having a little word about. The ball's just played back and there didn't seem an awful lot in that. See Michael Brown goes because the whistle's not going and then it goes very late.
But it is a Wigan free kick. Experienced Mario Malchiot brought back to English football from Rennes in France. Flamini finding Kleb, who's kind of taken over the kind of Robert Pires role. He doesn't get as many goals as him, mind. Clichy. Sean is able to cut it out. It's Michael Brown. And Marlon King had found a little bit of space as well. Valencia to his right. Good battle over there between Valencia and Clichy developing.
Yeah, they like Valencia here. Talked to Steve Bruce about him. Himself and Palacios, he talks very highly of.
I think he says Palacios is the best million he's ever spent. Surprised Birmingham didn't take the option to sign him permanently. They'd had him on loan earlier in the season. Marquis missed it. Came almost down to Bruce. It wouldn't quite sit down. Now the brakes on here for Arsenal. Fabregas will realise that. Bentner. Beautiful ball to find Kleb. Did that touch his hand though on the way through? They wanted the free kick. Rob Stiles had a good view and said no, nothing doing. King is on his own here. Send us for company. Form book says Arsenal here, but it's been a weekend of shock after shock, hasn't it?
Too late it has. I guess what we should all be doing is getting a bet on Bristol Rovers.
Yeah.
No, but that's the thing about this league is you do have to earn the right. Even though you've got great players and Arsenal know that, and so does Arsene Wenger, you do have to earn the right in this league to play your football.
Bakary Sagna to Cesc Fabregas. He's under pressure from Michael Brown. They've nicked it away. Here's Koumas. They're hoping Wigan that he might be a creative spark for them. Voted the Championship Player of the Year last season at West Bromwich Albion, Jason Koumas. He's been vastly talented, but he's quite often found himself on subs benches and not in the team.
I think it's finding the position for him. A lot of teams have found difficult.
Here's Gilberto. Bentner. Shana got a little touch with it. It's come out to Sagna. Towards Adebayor, and Kirkland, with a little difficulty, gathers it. Fabregas again looking to orchestrate something. He's chipped it through to Bentner here. Good close control from the Dane. And Edmund cuts it out.
Lovely football. Nice little spin in behind. Lovely ball through to him. Just spins in between full-back, centre-back. The ball dropped in was a beauty. Does well to get the little yard of space that he was looking for to cross the ball, but not the best cross from him.
Another Arsenal corner. No breakthrough yet, though, for the leaders. Played up. It's bouncing around dangerously in there. Adebayor wants it. It's hacked away by Edmund, gratefully for Wigan Athletic.
No, I think when it's like this, when you're playing against a team that's confident and dominates the ball, it's just important that you stay in the game. So far, a quarter of it gone. Steve Bruce will be happy that it's still 0-0.
When these two sides met at the Emirates early in the season, it went to 83 minutes before Arsenal got their breakthrough from William Gallas. And that was the day that Steve Bruce was sitting in the stands about to take over, but not the manager for that day. Frank Barlow was in his caretaker role. Here's Kleb for the Gunners. Bentner. Now Valencia. Arsenal looking for their natural width today from their fullbacks getting forward. Because there's no Rosicki, there's no Walcott, there's no Eboué. Brown.
Yeah, they just need to do a little bit better than that when they get it. Not seeing a lot of the ball, so it's important you don't give it away too cheaply. It could be a long time getting it back.
Wigan, of course, who escaped so dramatically on the last day last season with that win at Sheffield United. They might hope it doesn't go to the wire like that this time, because their final game is at home to Manchester United.
Yeah. Unless the title's decided one way or the other, of course. Then.
Oh, I got a feeling it's going to go to the last day.
Won't surprise you. Won't surprise any of us, no. It's been that kind of season.
Great for the neutrals if that happens. Valencia goes in towards Emil Heskey. Shana with the header away. Bentner picks it up. Wigan working hard.
Well, they're having to. A little bit like Man U Portsmouth yesterday early on, and Manchester United were pretty dominant with possession. Portsmouth had to dig in.
Now
stay at 0-0.
Lunged in there with his challenge on Kumas, and I don't think Rob Stiles liked that much, didn't like the nature of the challenge. He's got a yellow card in his hand, Rob Stiles, I think. Is he gonna brandish it? Yes, he is.
Oh, you always worry, but I think he's made a pretty good tackle, I have to say. Thought at the time, comes in, wins it very cleanly, very cleverly, very neatly. I think it's a poor decision from the referee.
It's the sort of challenge that would have never picked up a card 20, 30 years ago, but the referees just don't like any sight of the studs, do they?
Well, in this league, they don't mind, but it doesn't matter what area you're playing. I've always thought if you win the ball, it's never been a yellow card.
But Bentner's picked up one anyway from Rob Stiles. Almunia hasn't had a save to make so far. It's away from Sendros. Will be aware that Toure is now over his calf injury and will expect to reclaim his place, but maybe Sendros will make him work for that. Sanya does well, very well. Flamini looking to spread this towards Bentner, that big diagonal ball. Melchiot's there for Wigan Athletic.
Yeah, I just think the play's far more rounded than it's ever been, Arsenal. They mix it up more. They didn't panic when they were right in that bottom corner. Sanya, then Fabregas to Flamini, nice and composed football, and then Flamini happy then to launch one 50-60 yards on the diagonal, looking for Bentner over the top. So they do that a lot more now, mix up the game much better.
Brown trying to link up with Kumas, nicely done. Out here to Edmund. You might remember him scoring that screamer at Anfield in his Spurs days. Valencia takes on Clichy again. Old-fashioned right-wing play from the man from Ecuador.
They brought Piper Clichy, and he knows it to sustain his feet like that because he'll trust his pace, Gael Clichy, to stay with Valencia. It's important that he doesn't get caught diving in, going to ground. The defending he just showed us is just about right. I thought that last corner that Mario Melchior might have done a better job of it. I thought it was there to be headed by the full-back, and somehow we missed it.
Here's the Wigan corner. Arsenal defending it well enough, and Adebayor brings it away. Arsenal beaten only once in the league all season. That was at Middlesbrough. Play on, says Rob Stiles here. Here's the menacing Valencia again. Brown on the volley. Blocked by Gallas. The crowd behind the goal claiming handball, but none of the players. Well one back from Palacios. Brown.
That's a bit aimless. Kumas looking for it as well. Square of him wanted the ball.
Kleb. Here's Bentner again. Steve Bruce might be quite encouraged that Arsenal haven't created too much by way of clear-cut opportunities since that early one for Adebayor.
Yeah, they defended deep, they defended with numbers.
This is just 2 points, Andy, above the bottom three at the moment.
But this is one of those occasions, Ian, when even though you're at home, you come away from this game with anything. If they get a point, Wigan, that's a massive, massive boost for them. It's a real bonus, that.
Bentner. Well, in their Premier League history, they've only ever got 1 point against one of the so-called Big Four sides. 1 point out of 63, but that was in their last game
Liverpool.
at Anfield. Yeah, 1-1 draw. Palacios. It's Valencia again. He's full of confidence. Wants to run the Arsenal defenders. Played against England for Ecuador in the World Cup, you might remember. Antonio Valencia. Gilberto. You always do wonder, don't you, Andy, whether there's going to be some hangover at the end of a Champions League week, no matter how it's gone for the clubs involved.
Yeah, I mean, the big clubs normally cope quite well. I mean, I think the fact that the result was such a positive one, the journey not a long one, you know, the Sunday kick-off, I think all those factors would enable Arsenal to come here confident they can get the right result.
And here's Bentner looking to engineer exactly that. Edmund does well with his volley away. Now Gael Clichy. Still looking to try to unlock this packed Wigan defence. Fabregas plays this in again. Adebayor hoping it drops to him. Shana got on it. Now Flamini. And Sanya can't reach it. No, not properly anyway. Well, don't forget we've got Spanish football coming up for you tonight. Valencia in action against Deportivo. This is from 6 o'clock on Sky Sports 1. And also it's Barcelona playing Villarreal from 8 o'clock. Here's Gilberto to Bentner. Now Kleb. Gilberto, I nearly found Bentner. It was a decent idea, but just gets away from him.
Yeah, it's been like that first half. It's nearly been right for Arsenal. Right to the first minute when Adebayor nearly squeezed one past Chris Kirkland. We've gotten so far and struggled a little bit with the final ball.
Gallas getting it away. Here's Gilberto. Wigan harrying well. There's Kumas. So play rugby league, of course, on this pitch. The new season's just started. They've had a couple of games on it, which obviously doesn't help. You can see the lines as well. Bit of green paint might have helped there to make things look a little bit better. Doug Ellis, when he was in charge at Aston Villa, ordered green sand on the pitch to make it look better.
We can do a bit better. The set play, Kumas just wandering over. Normally got decent delivery. Not quite sure if it's a shooting position. Maybe a little too far.
Jason Kumas to take it. And can Wigan engineer something from the set piece? Got a fair few players forward here.
Oh, just looking at Sharma against Sanya. He might just fancy that.
Comes out to Brown. Hasn't scored in his last 98 matches, Michael Brown.
Funny chance. I've got a funny feeling it might be 99 before the day's out.
You say that shot didn't threaten to end the run, put it that way. But he's a fixture in Steve Bruce's side for his combative qualities in the middle of the pitch. He'll be an important player for them today, you suspect. Senderos. Shana getting it away. And a fair old signing for Wigan, hasn't he, Paul Shana? Only a couple of £1 million. And very versatile too, the Austrian. Sanya down the line here, Adebayor. Have Arsenal just gone off the boil a little here, Andy?
I mean, the game's dropped a bit all over. It's nice, tidy, quiet, no real pressure on them. They're just popping it about like this, taking their time. Hardly been a tackle worthy of the name. It's just been nice for them.
Not too many chances arriving so far, though. Here's Kleb. Now Clichy. Kleb again. Adebayor. Fabregas thought about the shot. And surely offside, Flammy, if it had got to him.
Well, that's when the rules are nonsense.
Fabregas again with a header. And it almost fell back to Adebayor, but they're saying there that they should have had a free kick for offside. Chris Kirkland complaining.
Well, that's what it is, a nonsense, an absolute total nonsense. Because they've kept a nice line, and Flamini, you say, makes the run, and the ball eventually comes. Had the ball gotten to him, it would have been, flag would have gone up, offside. But the clearance goes straight to Arsenal. We've got possession again and almost scored.
Here comes the corner kick. Heskey just doing enough to get it away. Of course, he had that England comeback this season before a metatarsal injury struck. Linked up well with Michael Owen, all to no avail in the end, of course, for England. It's Palacios. Now Marlon King. Just behind Heskey. And you can't afford usually to give the ball away against Arsenal because it takes quite a long time to get it back again quite often. But they've got it back quickly enough this time with Palacios. Valencia. Brown again. Very decent effort from Wigan Athletic so far.
Yeah, they haven't really been a threat themselves as an attacking force, Wigan, but I do think first half it's just so important that they stay in this game.
Adebayor, only Bentner up there with him. Edmund nicked it away from the big Togo striker.
Yeah, it just took a long time to get control of the ball.
Now there's a little bit of argy-bargy. Fabregas and Heskey, and then Fabregas holds his face at the end of all that. It looked to be something and nothing really, but Fabregas is maybe choosing to make a little more of it. So
I don't think Fabregas liked to challenge in the first place. Got a little upset with Heskey's challenge here, and he has a little push at him just down at the camera there. You just see it in a minute. It just is a little push there. Yeah, there's a little coming together. Much ado about nothing.
Now, why was Fabregas holding his face at the end of that?
Because Heskey's head brushed against it.
Really was a storm in a teacup, that. Nobody raised their arms, Jeremy Ali-Adier style, and ended up with a 4-game ban. Be careful these days. Now then, this is played towards Fabregas. Shana's there with him.
Well, a really good save early on, and another one to follow it here when, after that offside not given, Little Fabregas finds himself in the middle of a lot of blue and white shirts, but finds a header, and a pretty good header at that. Arching away to the corner there. Good save.
On 13 goals for the season, says Fabregas, which is pretty smart work for a midfield player. Clichy. Kleb. Adebayor wanted it and has got it as well. Well, they didn't quite find Clichy with his pass, and again Wigan managing to get a disruptive foot in. Arsenal not able to quite develop the kind of rhythm we saw for them at the San Siro the other night in that epic European performance. Mistake by Malkia. But wherever you look, there are blue and white striped shirts around, working very hard for Steve Bruce's side.
Well, every point's so valuable. You look how tight that league is down there. Everyone up to Middlesbrough, I think, involved and should be concerned. So every point, including a goal, a good goal difference, which they have, compared to someone like Newcastle.
Middlesbrough are up as high as 12th as well. 4 points separating 7 teams. Palacios looking to bulldoze his way through. Heskey got ahead to that, couldn't find Palacios again, and Arsenal get this one away.
Well, the home crowd trying to find their voices. Got a lot to get excited about at this end. The odd set play, the odd corner.
Well done again by Valencia. Rice half a yard, his cross is a bit of a disappointment though at the end of it.
It is, it's the first time he really has gotten half a yard to get the cross in on Clichy as well.
Wigan Athletic, by the way, have Bolton, Birmingham and Reading, 3 of the teams down there with them to play here at the JJB.
Well, I think then destiny very much in their own hands.
Mind you, they also have Spurs and Manchester United here, and they've got to go to 4 teams in the top half as well. Blackburn, Portsmouth, Chelsea and Villa, which is not so easy, and they don't get too many points on the road, so suspicion is they'll have to do the work here. Sanya. Sanya again, back to Emmanuel Adebayor. Again, good pressing from Wigan Athletic, who are proving obdurate opponents here. Heskey. Marlon King was coming back. Bit of a misunderstanding, they weren't tuned to the same radio station there. And the other right back now being deployed as a central defender for some effect, the former Palace man. Quite a few of these players have either been relegated from this league or been involved in a fight that will be good experience for Wigan. This is Valencia. Malkit's made a little run and nearly found him as well.
Oh, it's a good stretch from Alexander Kleb there. Oh, that's another one of those strange ones, isn't it? Yes, he comes back from an offside position, but I'm not so sure by the time it was passed, he wasn't onside. Maybe, I don't know. Comes a long way. Here he comes back, just off.
That's the flag up. Just a cloying surface here. I know some of the Wigan backroom staff were saying, let's hope it doesn't rain and slick the surface up for Arsenal beforehand. It didn't rain, although a huge storm is predicted for the next few hours. It certainly hasn't arrived yet. Playing under blue skies at the moment. Heskey. Malkiot gets the better of his duel with Kleb. King looking to turn onto it. Gallas getting it away for Arsenal.
Well, he turned on it, he just forgot to collect it, Marlon King.
Here he is again with another chance. Once again, his Palacios, the player whose brother is still being held by kidnappers in Honduras. They've already paid quite a huge fee in ransom money, £125,000, which hasn't yet brought his release. Must be difficult for him. He must be strong mentally to keep on playing at the level he has been with all that going on. Of course, Chelsea and Manchester United came back from their Champions League victories in midweek and got turfed out of the FA Cup this weekend. Arsenal, after their great win in Milan, so far struggling to make too many inroads here at Wigan, and maybe Heskey can cause some damage here. Gallas, good pressing from him. It's a corner kick, and Gallas has stayed down too.
Not so sure what happened, whether it gets caught under him, whether it gets stood on here. It's good defending from William Gallas, though. He does really well. I think he just gets caught with Heskey. He watch the right foot. There you go, just there. Some contact from Emil Heskey onto that right foot.
Moving a bit gingerly as well, Gallas, and family just checking on his condition. We're close to half-time. Just a minute added on, we're told, at the end of the half. Gallas is still hobbling around as this corner comes and almost finds its way to Boyce, and then Adebayor gets it away. Can Arsenal engineer one last break quickly? They're running out of time in this half anyway. Gilberto. It's typical of the way Wigan have worked things, even Kumas getting back to get the challenger. And that is half-time. The best chance arrived in the opening seconds for Emmanuel Adebayor, one-on-one with the goalkeeper, but Chris Kirkland made a superb save. He really did, to save Wigan. Another one too from a Fabregas header, but generally Arsenal have been kept pretty quiet here. They've got work to do. It's Wigan 0, Arsenal 0 at half-time.
Former Gunners manager George Graham and Sam Allardyce are our guests. Nothing yet then for Arsenal, frustrated by Wigan. Steve Bruce will be delighted with that. So far, it's gone as well as he could have expected. Premier League scores and analysis when we come back.
Champions League, Tuesday 7:30. With a 2-goal lead,
counts. Yes!
Can Liverpool finish the job in the San Siro?
Gerrard hits it!
And become the 4th English club in the last 8. Into Liverpool, Tuesday 7:30, Sky Sports 2 and HD2. Who can make it to Moscow and the Champions League final? Follow it all the way on Sky Sports.
At Orange, we know that everyone is different. That's why we give our customers the freedom to choose between 4 pay monthly phone packages canary, raccoon, panther and dolphin. From unlimited calls to unlimited texts, we have a plan to suit you.
Next time you're looking to place a bet, go to Betfair. Betfair punters match bets against each other. And could get better odds as a result. No wonder we're Britain's biggest online betting company. Betfair. Betting as it should be.
So, you must be Hopkins. You're quite the nastiest little boy I have ever encountered.
I'm just trying to fit in. Sheesh.
It's all downhill from here, my friend.
Achoo! Bully Scholarship Edition. Out now.
Sign up for a free £25 bet on Cheltenham at betfair.com.
What? Yeah? Yep.
Yesterday's history.
I never think about yesterday.
The only day that matters is today.
Start today with Gillette's most comfortable shave, Gillette Fusion Power. Turn it on. Soothing micropulses help you reduce friction. You'll barely feel the blades. Be your best today with Gillette's best shave ever.
That time is now.
Well, it's not been that bad in fairness, but it has cut up a little during that first half there, and there's plenty of repairs going on at the moment. Tonight, Valencia play Deportivo, 6 o'clock, Sky Sports 1. It's Barcelona against Villarreal, 8 on Sky Sports 1. And football first, straight to match choice. There are 2 other Premier League games being played today, 10 o'clock, Sky Sports 1. Give you the scores in a moment. George Graham and Sam Allardyce are with us here. So far, so good for Wigan, isn't it, Sam?
Yes, I think Steve will be very, very pleased about the way his team is set out defensively. I think that after a very bright start from Arsenal, they've seemed to have coped with what Arsenal's had to throw at them. Arsenal, of course, had first one very good chance in the first minute, but you know, after that, Wigan haven't created anything in terms of the possession that they've had, which Steve's going to have to try and encourage his team to do that, because I think if they just carry on for another 45 minutes trying to defend like that again, Arsenal will break them down again, another chance.
How much of a different game is it, George, if Adebayor scores when he's through in that opening 5 minutes?
Well, then Wigan have got to come out. You know, they've got to play more forwards like. But this is a great ball. I don't know who it was from, this one. They put him through. The only problem was too straight. The goalkeeper was coming out in a straight position. He could have went either side with the shot.
It's typically Fabregas.
It's just too straight. Look, if you just look now, great spreading by the goalkeeper. Didn't realise it was that good. He made himself as big as possible and just parried it.
Unusually, this is a header from Fabregas.
And another good save. Very good save. The keeper getting down very well.
As you can see here, the save is very, very important, that he can't hold it, and he's pushed it wide for a corner, because I think Adebayor was there to tap it in.
Yeah.
1 or 2 bobbles, but otherwise it hasn't played too badly, the pitch, has it?
Well, I think if you look at Arsenal's performance at the back, they've been reasonably steady. The 2 strikers of Wigan, they've not really done much to influence the game. So Arsenal look quite comfortable at the back. Loads of possession midfield, but apart from these ones we've just showed there, they'll be disappointed they've not actually scored. or they've made more
That wasn't
chances.
particularly
That was probably
helpful,
the
was
worst
it?
one, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes you look a bit of a...
But that's from Arsenal's point of view. They're probably disappointed because of possession. They've not made more chances or even taken a chance. I'm sure Steve must be delighted at half-time, 0-0. He's kept Arsenal, you know, I mean, from scoring a goal. So he'll be delighted. The problem is, as Sam says, how long does he leave it? Would he be happy with 0-0? I'm sure he'd be delighted with 0-0. But how long does he sort of think, should we go on and win it? And that's a dilemma.
Normally I've found, Richard, that teams who played in Europe, when they come and play, try and win the game in the the first 15 minutes. Arsenal haven't managed to do that, so they might tire towards the end, so you never know.
That's interesting. Yeah, interesting. Scores elsewhere in the Premier League. It's finished at the Lane. Everton 1-up. Oh, it has finished now, full time. Everton have beaten Sunderland. Andy Johnson, the scorer there. And at the Lane, 4-0. West Ham beaten by the same score as they have been in their last 3 matches now. Darren Bent scored in the 90th minute. Gilberto in the second half. There were 2 in the first half for Berbatov. Football first tonight, 10 o'clock, Sky Sports 1. In the Cup, we're waiting for Bristol Rovers and West Brom. Cardiff won earlier in the day at Middlesbrough. What a weekend. Still the work goes on. And Arsenal have got some work to do as well if they want that 4-point lead tonight.
Of arresting television.
You get all this? You're in the back of the van.
Back to back Road Wars and Night Cops tomorrow from 9 on Sky 1 and Sky 1 HD.
The new look Zafira and Mariva. Flexibility has never been such fun. Clever family cars from Vauxhall.
Welcome to Uncle Tony's.
Well, it's certainly unique.
I found the pool.
What's he do anyway?
Some kind of internet nerd or something. Of course, he's not my real uncle.
I'm not sure he's even a real Tony.
Hans Schmidt. He's Welsh.
Nope, he's an internet fraudster. Makes me glad I got my Barbie card to protect me from all this.
Online fraud protection from Barclaycard.
Every day for 2 weeks, the Daily Mail is offering another all-time great family movie on DVD. Get Moby Dick free with tomorrow's Daily Mail.
Okay.
Okay, very good.
Smile, you're in Spain. At Magnus, we've long understood the importance of making time.
And I ask your friend, what's a fella to do? 'Cause her hair is black and her eyes are blue. Oh, and I lost my heart to a Galway girl. Hey.
Magnus Irish Cider. Time dedicated to you. From the director of Independence Day and The Day After Tomorrow, prepare for an event whose time has come. 10,000 BC.
This week's Match of the Day magazine brings you results from the weekend. The biggest stars, an exclusive free pack of Match Attax trading cards, and brilliant skills advice. Match of the Day magazine. Everything you need to know about football every week. This week's issue only £1 with free footy pinball game.
What's the matter?
I lost the folder. All the photographs, all the old film with the kids on it, everything from when they were babies.
Well, why don't we make another one? Yeah, we'll just make another folder. It's all backed up.
BT Total Broadband comes with Digital Vault, so you can safely back up your precious files and photos. And now until the 19th of March, you get a free wireless BT Home Hub. Call 0800 317 316.
Makes me glad I got my Barbie card to protect me from all this.
Apply online today for a Platinum Barclay card and get 0% on balance transfers for 14 months.
You know what bugs the experts at Oral-B? Brushing your teeth still leaves plaque bugs behind. Billions of acid-producing, enamel-eating bugs. So they invented Oral-B Vitality, a rechargeable brush under £25. It moves almost 8,000 times a minute and could destroy twice as much plaque as a manual. Plug in Vitality. Turn on a healthier smile. Now Oral-B Vitality is half price. Something else to smile about.
Everyone on this island is going to die.
Whatever he's doing, tell him to stop. If you want to stop us, you're going to have to shoot us both.
Brand new Lost, tonight at 9, Sky 1 and Sky 1 HD.
Don't forget, Liverpool have got a Champions League date this week. Tuesday, they are defending a 2-0 lead as they go to Milan to play Inter. It starts at 7:30 on Sky Sports 2. And Friday, we've got the draw for the quarterfinals. They make the semi-final draw at the same time, which I don't like. 11:30, you'll see that live on Sky Sports News. Having got 3 of the British teams through, do you think Liverpool can go and do a job on Inter?
I think so. I think they're just hitting form at the right time. They've been a little bit inconsistent, earlier this year, but they're hitting a nice little run, a nice little patch, and no question they can go over there and get a result.
Just a word on the FA Cup, Sam, and the extraordinary events that we've seen this weekend. Why do you think that's happened?
At this late stage, I think it's once in a lifetime we'll see it. Normally it happens in the 3rd or the 4th round where the Premiership sides change the team an awful lot to give the regular players a rest. This time it's gone right into the quarterfinals. Quite bizarre, but for me it looks like sort of a great promotion for the FA Cup, and the lower division sides playing above themselves and the Premiership sides really getting caught out badly.
First time in 100 years there's only one top league team in the semi-finals. Here it's Wigan 0, Arsenal 0. Commentators Andy Gray and Ian Dark.
Thank you very much indeed, Richard. We were just discussing at half-time how soon before Arsene Wenger gives Robin van Persie a run. He did play an hour in a behind-closed-doors match on Thursday, and he hasn't been in the starting lineup in the Premier League since October. Twisted knee, the latest one a recurring thigh muscle injury, but happily he's back and all is well. But I guess they didn't want to risk him from the start on this surface today.
Well, that'd be the key, I think. It depends on whether he needs a goal or not, Arsenal. If it's been a thigh injury and it's been a problem one, and sticky pitch like this, put an extra bit of strain on it. So I think Arsene Wenger would like to get through the game, maybe without using Van Persie. But he might just want to give him, 20 minutes, just to get him back in firing with his mates again.
Just worth the big picture is that Arsenal can't afford a draw here. They've got to win this, haven't they?
Well, they don't want a draw. I would agree with you in that respect. Whether they can afford it, we'll only know when the league's done and dusted, Ian, and whether 2 points dropped here would cost them the title. That remains to be seen. That will all depend on United and Chelsea keeping winning. A few big games coming up. Fortunately, you see all of them with us here on this channel in the next couple of months. We'll decide it.
A fortnight today, of course. It's Manchester United v Liverpool and Chelsea v Arsenal on the same day. Easter Sunday, I believe. Here's Gallas to Gilberto. He's hustled out of it by Brown. Clichy. Now Kleb. Battling away on that side with Valencia, and it's gone Wigan's way here. the little flick on to Marlon King, his strike partner. King, of course, who missed most of the season with Watford as they were relegated last year. Might have been a different story for Watford, might have been, had he been around. Key
well,
he
was in such good form in the promotion season. I think he would have been. I think it would have made a difference to Watford. It's a horrendous injury. It's taken a little bit of time to get back from it, but playing games would be the best thing for him.
Gilberto manages to find Nicholas Bentner. Foot up by Emerson Boyce. Decision goes Arsenal's way.
I just goes to nod at Bass Boyce. If he comes in, I have to say, if that is not a booking, then there's something wrong. When you see what Bentner got booked for in exactly the same spot, first half, and Boyce gets away with almost taking his head off with his foot up round about his neck.
Bentner is the only yellow card so far. Clichy plays this one long. Kirkland came for this. Come to Adebayor. Kirkland off his line. There manages to save it. A lob might have done it for Arsenal there.
Lack of communication. Goalkeepers decides to come an awful long way here. Almost to the edge of the box. Well, whether the shout was loud enough or whether the shout came at all, I don't know. Adebayor's wrong choice for me. I think he's just got to lift that. He's in absolutely no man's land, Chris Kirkland. Little left over the head.
It's Adebayor again. Sure, the Arsenal fans are just biting their nails a bit. It might be like that between now and the end of the season, of course. The Manchester United and Chelsea supporters as well, and Liverpool, of course, on a good run as well, with Everton joining them, level on points again with their win at Sunderland this afternoon. Merseyside derby coming up as well this month.
Well, that's two big chances Emmanuel Adebayor's had at the beginning of each half.
And neither have been taken.
No.
He couldn't stop scoring just recently. Scored 7 Premier League games in a row, Adebayor. He's 2 behind Cristiano Ronaldo for the Golden Boot at the moment. Now then, Fabregas has got him behind here. Couldn't quite find Bentner. Might get another stab at it. Comes out towards Kleb. Brown, important challenge for Wigan, who scramble it away.
Well, that's been the main problem. 3 or 4 times when he's drifted from the right side, says Fabregas. Got himself in a central area. He really has given Wigan a problem.
Clichy. Just as they did in the first half, Arsenal coming up with 1 or 2 opportunities at the start of the half. Can they sustain it this time, though? Palacios.
I think they've got a problem with Heskey.
Yeah, I think they might be preparing to take him off. Heskey, he's really struggling. Meanwhile, Valencia, who isn't, plays this one in towards King. Couldn't quite win it.
Well, that'll be Sobieski. It looks like his tracksuit bottoms are off, having a little warm-up down below us. Definitely getting himself ready.
Gilberto caught in possession by Brown. And Gilberto seems to be struggling a little as well in his movement at the moment. Clichy does well to get in the challenge on Valencia. Maybe Steve Bruce fancies Wigan might even nick the victory here.
Well, job first half was to stay in the game. They did that. Job second half, maybe ask a few more questions.
Certainly a tougher nut to crack than they were earlier in the season when they lost 8 games in a row in the autumn, Wigan, and looked like surefire certainties for the drop. They were stuck on about 8 points after 13 matches.
Well, there's plenty out there. Sobieski in the distance there. And Percy.
Yep, the cast list could change. Arsenal are going to get a free kick here.
Looks like they might just be saying to Heskey, take 5 minutes, see how if it eases off anyway. They're not rushing Sobieski back to the halfway line just yet. I guess with Arsenal, maybe another 10, maybe to the hour mark, and if his team don't look like getting the breakthrough, then you would think that Van Persie would get half an hour, maybe take Gilberto off, revert back to Fabregas in his usual position alongside Flamini. Kleb one side, Van Persie the other.
Here is Gilberto. Here's again. And Flamini, a little challenge there with Michael Brown.
Well, he does get himself in trouble, Michael Brown. No doubt about that. I just think that was just unfortunate.
Brown, who gave an interview last week after the Manchester City game, saying that he had to give Elano some attention, as he described it.
Yeah.
Wigan got a good goalless draw out of that trip to Eastlands, though, and they might have won it near the end with Palacios having a great chance. Steve Bruce looks relaxed, doesn't he? Seems to be good mates with Arsene Wenger, doesn't he? All the transfer deals they do together.
Arsene's looked after him, there's no doubt about that. Certainly in the promotion year. Was it Giroud, Bentner, Larson, you know, three big players for them, Wamba, yeah.
I think there have been about 8 in all involving the two managers, loans and otherwise. This is away by Malkiot. Very different sides today, though, of course. Gilberto. Kleb again. Can they unlock the door here? Arsenal now. Adebayor. Played in towards Fabregas, who'd made a run. It was a bit of a miscue, but it's found its way into Chris Kirkland's arms.
Well, they're getting Sobieski on now. As soon as the ball goes out, then that'll be the end for Emil Heskey. Well, they want to change it. The referee didn't see them.
Sobieski is going to come on. King's layoff. Easily cut out by Clichy, and he's got speed to burn down this left-hand side. But it is a dead surface. This, I think, if it was the racing at Cheltenham coming up this week, not too many other horses would like it.
No, heady going it would be described.
Emil Heskey's not going to add to his 1 goal this season, and that was back in August. Sobieski was the top scorer in the Premier League after the first week of the season. Scored in the first 3 games. Rob Stiles has got to be rewired for sound. Trust it's working. Flamini for Arsenal. Clichy. Fabregas. Just don't have those pacey outlets out wide they often have with the likes of Eboué and Walcott when he's around to come on as a sub, and Arsenal have to go all the way back to their goalkeeper here.
Well, they've got enough pace wide. I mean, the fullbacks are quicker than most. Well, I just think that it's one of those days where, sadly, you're up against, for Arsenal, they're up against a team whose form's pretty good. We've already mentioned it, 3 clean sheets in the last 4 league games. So that's pretty good form to take in defensively, and they've got very determined and disciplined look about them, and they're organised really well, Wigan. And when a Premier League side does that and gets that part right, it's very difficult to break them down.
King's on the chase here with Gallas. Almunia's come to help out. A big collision between Gallas and Almunia. He's worked out okay for Arsenal in the end. That had the makings of a horror story. Only this time there was a happy ending with the side in red and white.
Always a danger. Goalkeeper comes that far.
It's intriguingly poised, this.
Yeah, one of those sticky days. Another look at the pitch as Sled hits a misplaced pass. sorry guys, but you know, got to deal with it.
Well, all the guys who played in your era, and he say, well, it's far worse. We used to play on pitches worse than this every week this time of year.
This is a pretty good surface from that year, I tell you.
So this is some grass on it. Now a few bobbles, mind you, which doesn't make it easy for the goalkeepers when the ball's played back to them.
Well, in that case, you just got to watch the ball on your foot.
The gentleman just about did then. Here's Kumas. Adebayor's ball back is a bit of a loose one, and Sibierski picked it up and did well with his back heel. Sibierski again. Malkiot, promising from Wigan this. Kumas.
Corner.
Took a deflection. Good move.
He's a clever player, Sibierski. Fairly intelligent. It's a very deliberate pick out there. Saw Kumas arrive and just dropped it back to him. Don't think the shot would have troubled Almunia that much. Didn't quite catch it.
Wigan do have a corner kick here. Sharna's forward. He likes to pop up with the odd goal. Almunia elects to punch.
I just don't understand why they don't catch them. That's chest height. No real pace in it. Nobody in front of him. Just catch it.
It's Kumas again. Taking on Sanya on that side. Took a deflection. That'll be another Wigan corner.
Well, goalie catches the first one. They're not defending another corner.
Bentner was back there to win the header. After the silky display at the San Siro, it's turning into hard labour here up in the northwest for Arsenal today.
Now, he would have expected that. He knows. He's already spoken about the difference of Madrid and Wigan. And if you want to contest both the tournaments we're talking about, then you need to be able to cope with the climate change and the culture shock, if you like, of arriving here against a very determined side and dig one out, so to speak, because that's what kind of day it is for Arsenal. It's a dig one out day. It's keep it tight and get a 1-0 and get back down the road. That's what they're after.
They've had a couple of big chances and they haven't been taken. Wigan just starting to ask one or two questions. Valencia plays this in towards Sibierski, who is dangerous in the air.
Well, just a little surprised that Sharma didn't make a little run off that header. No chance here.
Fabregas. And he doesn't find Flamini, easily cut out by Eric Edman. And Palacios goes down in a heap, and Gilberto will be booked.
Well, I guess it regards as a stopping the move. It's a quite deliberate foul. They were stretched a little, the game was open. Gilberto just thought, I'll take a booking. A little sacrifice there.
Could be creating history this season, Gilberto. Good enough for Brazil, but not Arsenal.
Well, yeah. But maybe if Brazil had players like Flamini and Fabregas, it wouldn't be good for them either.
I think we're getting into deep waters there. Here's Clichy. Now Kleb. Out by Sharna. Valencia's little chip, hoping Sibierski can make something of it. He's a more fleet-footed, mobile type of player, possibly. Just adds a little extra dimension to the forward play. Sibierski good in the air too, and is likely to come up with the odd goal. Says it took him a month to get over the news that he had to leave Newcastle. He loved it there. Very much part of the Wigan cause now. They've got a good spirit here under Steve Bruce. Valencia. Marlon King keeping this one in. It's a clever little ball, wasn't it, by Flamini off the outside of the boot.
Well, they were dominated. There's a major change in the second half. Far more possession of the ball, Wigan.
Kleb. Twisting, turning, looking to set up Bentner. But again, Wigan's defensive work is resilient.
Michael Brown did well as well. Got back in there. Helped his mates out.
Clichy, Bentner. Looking to add pace and tempo to the attacking work, but it doesn't quite work out. It's just proving to be a little frustrating at the moment, this, for Arsenal.
Well, it's extremely frustrating. I'm a little surprised that Arsenal... as I say that, I look down and Pat Rice is out, calling them back, calling Van Persie back, and Colo Torre, I think.
Valencia tries a cross shot, he got hold of that as well, it was swerving, and Almunia turns it away.
Oh, that's a super effort. We're right behind this, you and I. Brilliant angle to see him as he stays off him, and there's a bend on that would have taken it in. Beautifully struck. But it was at a good height for Almunia.
Valencia scored in the last home match in the win over Derby, his only goal of the season. How has he got a taste for it? That was a juicy effort. Kumas to swing this one in. Almunia with a huge punch. Palacios back in there. And changes afoot for Arsenal. Torre and Van Persie are right, Andy.
Well, Van Persie will be interesting. It's whether he keeps Bentner and Adebayor as a duel and brings Van Persie on in a wide area, I guess, or whether he says, well, enough's enough for, say, Nicholas Bentner, and puts Van Persie there just off Adebayor.
We're about to find out. Miss Flamini.
See, it's a little it's a sapping pitch, isn't it? Strength sapping.
Gallas and Senderos.
Well, how can that
be a bit of pressure there? It's a good spell, this, for Wigan in the match.
Well, here we go.
Time to make those changes. Bentner is going to...
That's Bentner, yeah. Off. So I guess that's Van Persie just off him.
And off comes Gilberto, to replace by Colo Torre. So interesting to see how Arsenal just rejig things here.
Well, Fabregas must come in field. Colo Torre going wide on the right. Oh, I haven't seen him play there before.
Used to be wide on the left, didn't he, in his early days at Arsenal? I remember him scoring at Chelsea, playing from that position. But nearly always a central defender in more recent times, of course. Some interesting and unusual move. Torre as a wide midfield player. There goes Sibierski, maybe a touch there quickly.
Big moment for Arsenal, I think, because at the end of the season, Robin Van Persie back in action. It's been a long time, it's been a long wait. And if he is fit and he can stay fit, then that's a massive boost in the run-up to this chase for two major honours that Arsenal are on.
Valencia again. And involved in most of Wigan's best work, the winger. Fixture in the side these days as well. Player was signed by Paul Jewell and quickly lost his place not long after he came here, but on the song now. Shana into the mixer and the offside flag goes up.
Yeah, must have just been coming back. As he plays this ball back, look, Arsenal come out. It's good defending that, working the front men, and the decision's the right one.
threat of Robin van Persie, though there's bound to be a bit of rust. He did play an hour, as I was saying earlier, in a behind closed doors friendly on Thursday, Van Persie, just to shake off some of that rust. But he's missed the last 12 games since his thigh injury recurred. Did play in the first leg of the League Cup semi with Spurs. That was the only appearance in the last 5 or 6 months. Toure playing this inside, Palacios getting it away. Now Marlon King.
Well, he did ask a huge amount of Marlon King there.
Well, coming up on Sky Sports on Monday night, we go into the League 2 promotion race. Paulin's MK Dons away to Chesterfield, who are in the picture themselves. At 7:30, Sky Sports 1 tomorrow, and HD1 as well. And then, don't miss this one, Inter against Liverpool, just on Sky Sports 2, Tuesday 7:30. Can Liverpool hold on to their 2-goal advantage and make it 4 English sides in the quarter-finals of the Champions League? Fascinating. Arsenal are already there, of course. Funny the way football works out, though. Outplaying Milan in Milan, struggling to overcome Wigan at the JJB.
Well, that's what makes the sport what it is. Well, just as Gallas went chasing Michael, that ball from Michael Brown wide on the other side, he just pulled up a little. I don't know if it's a remnants of the... Remember, just before half-time, he picked up that injury. Wouldn't be a problem. I mean, they'll just stick Kolo Toure back there. And I'll just see, I think Song it is, whose tracksuit bottoms are off. So, if there's any doubt.
Song's been out injured himself as well since the Africa Cup of Nations final, where he was on the losing side against Egypt for Cameroon. This is a long straight ball for Adebayor, and it's well defended by Shano in the end.
Yeah, I think he might have gotten the free kick if anything had come with this. I do think Adebayor rather runs into him. You see there, just turns, just eases into him. I think he would have gotten the free kick, but they've got the ball, so play on. But they've looked less and less like scoring, Arsenal, as this half's gone on. And one big chance for Adebayor right at the start. And since then, I have to say, I do not remember Chris Kirkland making a save yet.
They've looked flat, to be honest, Arsenal.
Little flat, little like the pitch, but dead the pitch. You know.
There must be some concerns.
As I've said to you, I think there are a lot of places he'd rather have gone after that performance than here.
There's always the question of how much the performance in Milan took out of them emotionally. Never mind physically. It was a big high, wasn't it, for them as a club?
That should be fine. It's a big low you'd worry about coming back from.
Yeah, just wonder whether there's a little bit of a hangover from it, that's all. Only a theory. Here's Flamini. Nicked away by Palacios. And into the back of the heels of King, unfortunately for Wigan Athletic. And good play by Clichy. Can Arsenal move up a gear here into the channel? No, it won't find its way through to Van Persie.
Went for the killer ball when he could have played Kleben wide.
Caught late, Senderos. And the King goes into the book.
I think he's a little unlucky. It's hard. I understand the difficult for referees when players go down, stay down and squeal away. But they need something. They're searching and searching, Arsenal, but they aren't finding it at the moment.
Here's Fabregas. Chipped into the mix and just needed a touch. It found its way all the way to Kirkland, who watched it well, to be fair.
Well, I don't know if Adebayor misses this. I thought he was just going to put his head in it. Oh no, it's a little ahead of him, but he's just... Watch him, he stops. Just a little flat-footed. It's a beautiful ball in, I have to say. Anyone going across the flight of that would have liked it.
Melchior. Clichy gets in with the challenge.
No, I get the feeling that Arsenal have got to be really careful here.
Not yet long, goes on towards Marlon King. Clichy gets it away. If it does end in a draw, it'll be Arsenal's third draw in a row, and that following a position of a 5-point lead in the table. 5 seasons ago, they squandered an 8-point lead with 10 games to go when Manchester United produced a storming finish. Valencia. Melchior. Valencia again! And away by Gallas.
Well, he had more time than he thought there, Valencia. No, it was neat and tidy football.
Picked up by Wilson Palacios. It's become a struggle, this, in the second half for Arsenal. And Percy has gone down. That'll always be a worrying sight.
And down holding his face.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a hand that comes out from Palacios, just catches him.
Welcome back to the Premier League. Certainly missed him, player of his quality. And his return to the side, of course, coming at an opportune time with the luckless Eduardo out for, well, at least the next 9 months or so. It is just a blow to the face for Van Persie.
Little slap.
Well, they're having to be patient.
There's plenty of them.
Supporters, good support away from home.
They've not a lot to get excited about. Chance at either side of the half, either beginning of each half, or Adebayor's been just about it.
Thus far, subdued Arsenal display, but you've got to give credit to Wigan Athletic and the way they've been set up and organised themselves and approached the task here. Clichy. There's still time, though, for a dramatic finish here. Brown is penalised. They're going to get a free kick here, Arsenal.
Well, Sobieski's got himself booked. He's moaning about not getting the ball back, what Arsenal did with a bounce ball. As I've always said, why don't you just bounce it and contest the thing?
Well, this is all set up for a glorious return to the first team for Robin Van Persie, that hammer of a left foot. And it's in range as well for him.
Yeah, well, I said first half there was a free kick they had and they didn't have a natural left footer there. They have now.
Was the score of one of the great Premier League goals of all time, that volley at Charlton Athletic. And Arsenal needs something here as well, because it's getting late-ish. Rob Starr says the wall is only 9 yards, not 10. Flamini looking to make a nuisance of himself. And it's taking forever to get this free kick taken. This is a nervy moment for Wigan, a hopeful one for Arsenal. It is Van Persie, and it's over the top, much to the relief of the Wigan support here.
Well, such a wait. He had a long, long time to think about it. not one of his best.
Has scored on this ground as well in Arsenal's first ever visit, a 3-2 win. By the way, Wigan have never so much as taken a point in 5 games against Arsenal in the Premier League. Can they end that sequence here? It's within sight.
Well, they're fairly comfortable, dare I say it, at the moment, Steve Bruce's side. They just might have their eyes on more than 1 point.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that. Certainly given as good as they've got in the second half. Wigan, worth remembering how far this club have come. 11 years ago, they were still in the 3rd tier. They've only been a league club for 30 years. There's Shana. Now then, here's Robin van Persie. Toure called for it. Van Persie found him brilliantly. And Toure goes on as well. Good ball, back to Sanyu, who's got a bit of space.
Oh, what a poor cross. He could have either driven into the penalty area himself, and he knows it, or picked a better cross. Super ball from Van Persie, really well played. So keep it going, but look at the grass he has in front of him. He could have taken a touch, but he certainly was capable of putting a better ball than that in.
But Boyce did give away a corner kick. Van Persie himself, whose glorious ball set up the attack, he's going to take the corner. Gallas is forward, scored some vital goals this season. Curled in, and Marlon King it was who was there for Wigan Athletic this time.
Yeah, a little short with that one. You can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to whip it in with plenty of pace.
Remember, Arsenal scored 2 late at the Emirates when these two sides met early in the season. Van Persie again, Kirkland, surefire handling from him. A goalkeeper who wants to be a fireman when he finishes playing football. He's quite serious about it as well. He's put out a few fires for Wigan in this game.
Oh, we're handling that. Catch all those cats that get caught up trees when they throw them down.
That's one way of looking at it, I guess. Here's Palacios. Edmund, King won't get that, I don't think, not even on this rather holding surface.
Well, it's times like this when, as manager, as his coach, Arsene Wenger has to trust his players. Not a lot more he can do. Made the changes. He can just sit and hope that yet again his players produce something.
Adebayor, Kleb towards Van Persie. It's good defending by Shana again. Looking to just raise the tempo, you sense a little, Arsenal. Getting a bit urgent for them now. Toure looks to flick it on from his unfamiliar position wide on the right. Palacios, the play will be pulled back there.
His hand on the shoulder, pulled him down.
10 minutes left, just under. Plus stoppage time, of course. Kleb. He's got it away from Malkiot, but no, the whistle's gone, and Kleb is penalised. He looks a little bemused at the decision.
And I think he's suggesting that maybe Malkiot stood on the ball, and that's why he went over. He reads it, Melchior, and he's there, but well, they probably did just get caught. That one there, but then he does stand on it, it tips him over. That was funny down below, is it? That's all these fans. Arsene Wenger's on the touchline, his arms were out and he was gesticulating, and they were all imitating him down below.
He's unlikely to improve his humour. I think the Wigan fans are rather enjoying this. I think they'd see a point against Arsenal as like a win against most other teams. be a useful point in this very, very close race in the bottom half of the Premier League.
Well, the importance of the point would be that this would take them above Newcastle. There you go.
There's a thought.
This point would. It's not there yet.
Van Persie on his left foot as well. Might fancy this, but it's a miscue, and Wigan can breathe again.
Oh, I think he's got his slides Kleb in. As he drifts across, look at Kleb, just pulls away. Melchior gets sucked in, just slide him in, and he can just roll it across the 6-yard box for Adebayor. But he decided to take the shot on, look for the glory. That ball to him, I think, would have been the better option.
Before his injury absence, Van Persie was averaging a goal every other game. Palacios, no problems this time. Sanya. And see Kevin Kilban introduced by Wigan quite shortly. I think Marlon King might be the player who gives way. Meanwhile, Clichy for Arsenal. Keeps going, finds Kleb. Emerson Boyce does his job well. Another clean sheet for Wigan beckoning.
Well, it is. It's another move for Arsenal. It just breaks down at the crucial point. Rob Styles just having a quick word with Chris Kirkland, who decided to take his time. Do that again. Every time Arsene Wenger puts his arm out.
It's fallen for Valencia here. He tries another one of those fizzes from long distance. Melchior could be in for a dramatic finale, perhaps. Valencia once more. Sibierski's in the middle if he can get a touch on it. Gallas just does enough for Arsenal. Corner.
Nice ball. Well attacked by Sibierski, but well tracked by Gallas too. Just making sure he was bossing it, William Gallas.
Well, if Wigan were to score a late goal, you'd hear the reverberations all around the Premier League. They have a corner. Held in by Kumas, well defended by Senderos. Flamini leading the charge here. They're looking for the quick break. As Toure has recovered quickly from that calf injury. Hands up, taken quickly. Play on, says the referee. Good decision. Van Persie. Nicely done. Toure, Adebayor waiting in the middle. Van Persie arriving, but it doesn't reach any of them. Fabregas looking to explode onto it. This is around the time he came up with that vital first goal in the San Siro.
Yeah, but he struck it much better than this one. Not easy. He's certainly good enough to have worked the goalkeeper, but even great players sometimes drag them wide.
Fabregas's long ball, hopefully for Adebayor to chase. How different this might have been had Adebayor taken that chance in the opening minute or so of the game when he was one-on-one with the keeper. Chris Kirkland's had a bit of a stormer for Wigan when he's been needed, which hasn't been that often. Kleb easily away again.
Well, that's where they've let themselves down. An awful lot Arsenal has been in this area, that last third, just around the penalty area, where normally their passing and movement so slick and accurate, and it hasn't been today.
Kevin Kilban, who spent most of the season at left back until Eric Edman arrived.
Yeah, he'll probably go to left side, I would think, and they'll move Kumas just off the front, Sobieski, which is a more natural position for Jason Kumas. And I think what that'll do, Kilban will just block off Kolo Toure. That would be the idea then.
Wigan close to what would be a great point, but it would certainly be too lost for Arsenal. And however stupendous their exploits in Europe this week, there'll be those who'll say Arsenal just beginning to show one or two cracks in the race for the title, Andy.
Well, they might do. I wouldn't go along with that. They've just had a difficult day. They haven't played well.
I suppose there might be people who say they've had 3 difficult days.
Yeah. But neither fixture was easy. All the ones we're talking about. 2 away ties in the Premier League are never easy. Against teams who are really scrapping for the Premier League life. Birmingham and Wigan here. And of course Aston Villa, who are having a really good season. Another game not easy at all. So
certainly dramatic finishes to both those games you mentioned, the Birmingham game and the Villa one.
Maybe one here.
Yeah, I wonder, just wonder. Clever header, well played by Shana. Got it out of harm's way and Kilban did the rest. It's going to be 4 minutes of added time, we hear.
How do you know?
Intelligence.
Yeah, you sure.
Spies everywhere.
I'll stop lying for this damn intelligence.
Somebody said it in my head.
All right, okay. Well, how did they know? How did they know when there's a minute and a half to go?
We'll see in a minute anyway. We'll get it confirmed. Here's Sobieski. Looking to chip one now. Valencia. Looked for the back heel. Didn't quite find
no need for the back heel. I think it was just being a little too extravagant there when the fullbacks run that far to get there. And Valencia has just done that.
And Malkiel's out of position as this attack develops because of that, and it's Adebayor, plays it in, Fabregas! And again Kirkland to the rescue for Wigan when it seemed Arsenal might snatch it late.
Keeper got close to him. By the time he struck it, I don't think he was ever going to get it past Kirkland. They might have been better just, again, turning this across goal. But that was all the result of a sloppy bit of play with Valencia at the other end of the pitch. And he wasted possession, caught out his mate, Melchior, and they've almost paid.
Edman down the line for Kilban. It'll run for a goal kick which Arsenal want to take quickly.
Well, you watch this, it's a great run from Fabregas and a lovely little ball, but look how close Kirkland is, and maybe as he's played in here, he has a little look, maybe he could have just turned it across goal.
Wigan's ball.
Oh, the crowd don't like it.
The intelligence was good, Andy.
The crowd don't like it. They are not happy.
No, I think they'd take the whistle now, of course, Wigan. They probably had taken it an hour ago.
Steve Bruce is just asking Howard Webb, the 4th official, for. Are you sure?
4 minutes, which might seem like 40 for Wigan. Valencia. Arsenal have only failed to score in the Premier League once prior to this season. That was at Portsmouth on Boxing Day. Gallus wanted a free kick, the referee didn't, and it's handball anyway by Brown as the action gets a bit fevered. Sanya. Arsenal are going to get the points they need. They'll have to do it quickly now. Fabregas. Flamini caught out maybe by the bounce. Maybe. Melchior. Nobody there. He doesn't mind though.
No, just feed it down there. Get back in. Defend for 2.5 more minutes and this would be a massive point. I don't think anyone could deny that they're worth the point at the moment. They haven't done an awful lot wrong today, Wigan. And Arsenal haven't done enough right.
It's been a very encouraging display from Wigan Athletic, keeping their good
Gallus
run
has
going.
wandered up to the top of the pitch. William Gallus looking to play centre forward now, trying to make something happen for his team.
Can they work the ball to him? Toure looking to feed it through, and that's a clever back heel away from Malkia. Cool as you like.
Oh, they've got 3v2
here.
on
here. It's 3 against 3 now with Kumas to Valencia. Sibiaski waiting in the middle. Kumas looking to engineer room to get the shot away. He's done well. He's found Valencia. Valencia pulls it back and it's off Fabregas. Crazily, wasn't what he intended at all. Went over his own bar.
It's not a great ball, you know. He does skip past Clichy, probably for the first time in the match here. Lovely little drop of the shoulder and he's away. But he doesn't really pick anybody out. It's a little loose cross, but well, the bobbly pitch tests even says Fabregas' touch there.
Just over a minute left of the stoppage time, but it's Wigan on the attack and with a corner kick. Right towards the near post. Oh, it's Kumas' shot charged down. I think it hit Fabregas on the way through. Half-hearted appeals for a penalty. You're going to get that. Nothing too serious.
And Sharma stayed up as well. A chance if Kilban can work a yard or so for a cross.
They want to get this ball in there. Wigan, Kilban. What a clever ball that is to Malkiot. He's won it too. Last throws here. Finally battling away. It's fallen for Kilban again. It's going to be a goal kick.
Well, it looks like a point apiece. This is a shout when it comes out to Jason Kumas on the edge of the box here, and he smashes it right at Fabregas. And he puts his hands there to protect himself. Would have been an extremely harsh penalty.
Referee's going to blow any minute. He does blow. Arsenal drop points again. Held to a third successive draw, and Wigan get their first ever point in history against Arsenal, who squandered some chances, but Wigan were deserving of their draw. It's Wigan Athletic 0, Arsenal 0 here at the JJB.
Fourth clean sheet in 5 for Wigan. That's the way to build success from their point of view. Scores elsewhere in the Barclays Premier League today. A goal from Andy Johnson gave Everton the points at Sunderland. It's another hammering for the Hammers. 4-0 again. That's 3 in a row, this time at Tottenham. Football first tonight, 10 o'clock, Sky Sports 1. Straight to match choice this evening. The importance of that point for Wigan is that it lifts them up into 13th. Newcastle down again. At the top, 2 points the gap between Arsenal and Manchester United, who now have a game in hand. Chelsea, 58 points their return from only 27 played. Liverpool and Everton locked on 56 points apiece, but it's the goals Liverpool have scored in their last 3 that give them 4th at the moment. Next, we've got Spanish football, Valencia and Deportivo right here. After that, Barcelona meet Villarreal. It's second against third, that 8 o'clock, Sky Sports 1. And don't forget, once again, may I mention football first, match choice, 10 o'clock, Sky Sports 1. We've got the FA Cup semi-final draw at 1:25 Monday, Sky Sports News. And tomorrow night, it's Chesterfield against the MK Dons. A win there for the Dons. They'll take over from Peterborough at the top. 7:30 that starts, Sky Sports 1. And on Tuesday night, we're with Liverpool in Milan. They're defending a 2-goal lead against Inter. It starts at 7:30 on Sky Sports 2. Liverpool looking to become the 4th British team through to the last 8. Friday, we've got the draw for the quarterfinals and the semis on the same day. 11:30, you need to be tuned to Sky Sports News for that. A big thank you to George Graham and Sam Allardyce. We're in a hurry to get across to Spain for the football. From all of us here, thanks for your company and good evening.
More sport, news and views at skysports.com.
What?